All right, y'all. We give praise, esteem, and honor to Abba and Shamayim in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. Let's pick this up in John chapter 5, verse 39. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and they are they which testify of me. And you would not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Elohim in you. I come in my Abba's name, and you receive me not. But another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. How can you believe which receive honor one from another, and not the honor that comes from Elohim only? Do not think that I will accuse you to Abba. There's one that accused you, even Moses, in whom you trust. Had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. But if you believe not his writings, how should you believe my words? All esteem and praise to Abba and Shamayim in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach. Let's come over here to Numbers chapter 5. Numbers chapter 5. All right, hold on, y'all. I'm trying to get these videos where they need to be, so I ain't got to do it later. Peace, Brother Omar. So I ain't got to do it later. Numbers 5 and 1. And Yahuwah spake unto Moses, command the sons of Yasharal. Peace, Brother Robert. What's good, so? Shalom is, man. Command the sons of Yasharal that they put out the camp every leper, everyone that have an issue, whosoever is defiled by the dead, both male and female, shall you put out without the camp. You shall put them. They shall not defile their camps in the midst whereof I dwell. And the sons of Yasharal did so and put them out. Shalom, put them out without the camp. As Yahuwah spake unto Moses, so did the sons of Yasharal. And peace, Brother Joe. And Yahuwah spake unto Moses, saying, speaking to the sons of Yasharal, when a man or woman commit any sin that men commit to do a trespass against Yahuwah, and that person be guilty, then they shall confess their sin which they have done. He shall recompense his trespass with the principal thereof, and add unto it the fifth thereof, and give against whom he have trespassed. But if the man have no kinsman to recompense the trespass unto, let the trespass be recompensed unto Yahuwah, to the priest besides the ram of atonement, whereby atonement shall be made for him. Stop. And every offering of all the qadash things of the sons of Yasharal, which they bring unto the priest, shall be his. Every man's hollow thing shall be his. Whatsoever any man give the priest, it shall be his. Shalom, Sister Gwen. All right, y'all. Now we dealing with that. I know we was in Ezekiel. Leave that alone. Just leave it alone. Stop fooling with stuff. Shalom, Jay. Stop fooling with stuff. Shalom, Brother Mark. So listen. I think we was what, in Ezekiel 44, 43? Let me go around there. Give me a second. I'm gonna get around there because I don't even remember what we was on. Come over here to Ezekiel 44. Yeah, we were dealing with the priesthoods too. Let's show you right. Praise God. So, what's good, said? Come over here to Ezekiel 44 and 9. Let's do that. Shalom, Brother Francis, man. Thus saith Yahuwah Elohim, no stranger uncircumcised in heart, nor uncircumcised in flesh shall enter into my sanctuary of any stranger among the sons of Yasharal. The Levites are gone away far away from me when Yasharal went astray, which went astray away from me after their idols, and they shall even bear their iniquity. Yet there shall be ministers in my sanctuary, charged at the gates of the house, ministering to the house. They shall slay the burnt offering and the sacrifice for the people, and they shall stand before them to minister unto them, because they ministered unto them before their idols and caused the house of Yasharal to fall into iniquity. Therefore I've lifted up my hand against them, saith Yahuwah Elohim, and they shall bear their iniquity, and they shall not come near unto me to do the office of a priest unto me, nor come near to any of my qadash things in the most qadash, but they shall bear their shame, their abominations which they have committed, But I will make them keepers of the charge of the house for all the service thereof, and for all that shall be done therein. But the priests, the Levites, the sons of Zadok, they kept the charge of my sanctuary when the sons of Yasharah went astray from me. They shall come near me to minister unto me, and they shall stand before me to offer unto me the fat and the blood, saith Yahuwah Elohim. Now I'm gonna run the rest of this stuff down just for stuff that, for informational sake, because we're dealing with the priesthood of Melchizedek versus the priesthood of Levi, of Aaron more specifically, a high priesthood. I know we read some stuff in Hebrews 5. We got stuff in Hebrews 7. We've been talking about these offerings. We about to come to the conclusion of that. We touched on trespass offerings. You touched on sin offerings. You touched on votive offerings, free will offerings, all of these type of things. You know what I'm saying? Which is pertaining to sacrifices. You know what I'm talking about? I was telling Sean this earlier, just a recap of some of the things that we've been looking at, right? You have an entire system set up. The entire system was set up for no one man to bear the entirety of a burden. You know what I'm saying? What do we mean by that? That means this is a communal type deal. Some of you remember, shoot, it's time be moving. So this is almost 10 years ago. When we dealt with the fact that Yasharah was what we could consider to be a socialistic theocracy, if you would. As forth as how it is set up, structured wise, as forth as governmental and economic. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily socialism in the aspect of what you see in modern times, because there was no redistribution of wealth, if you would. You know what I'm talking about? The priest didn't come and take this person's stuff and then pass it on to everybody else. What it is it's a voluntary sense of socialism, if you would, is that everybody contributes to a particular type of pot, if you will, for lack of a better term coming to my mind, to be distributed to execute certain things, whether that be for the exercising of the ministering of the tabernacle, whether that's for the exercising to the service of the priest, and also to provide in regards to the poor, the fatherless, and the widow. You know what I'm talking about? And the stranger also. You know what I'm talking about? Which we can read in Deuteronomy 14 of why that statement is made. And to be clear, and to mention this here, when you're dealing in the 12 months that are numbered, one for each tribe of the house of Yasharah, there are no obligatory offerings required upon the people, save the time of tithing during the 3 times that all males must appear. Now, we've looked at certain things. You have certain things that pertain to the ministering of the tabernacle that all the people gave to. You know what I'm saying? I told you when I was talking to my little dog, man, and he told me that, and I already know this because I can tell this by the conversations that people have, is that individuals genuinely believe that it is on the preacher to facilitate things. That is not in this book. That man never ordained that. He never put that. Individuals do that, and this is why people do this. Or you see people preaching and take on these manner of burdens. They take these manner of burdens on because a lot of men and women in this particular society and worldwide, God bless Brother Smoke, use the scriptures as a means to financially exploit the people who are coming to seek the word, or as Peter put it in 2 Peter chapter 2, make merchandise of the people. You know what I'm saying? See, some of these brews will say somebody making merchandise of the people because they sell products or they sell clothing. If this man is selling clothing outside of times where people are ministering in the tabernacle, he's not making merchandise of anyone. You know what I'm talking about? Now, you think putting Yahuwah's name on a t-shirt, on a hat, on some shoes is exploitative in itself, and you can hold that opinion if that's what you choose to hold. You know what I'm talking about? I'm not concerned either way. It's none of my business, because I look at it like this here. If you don't like it, you don't have to buy it. That's it. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to buy it. If you feel like, them brothers overcharging for their product, okay, that's cool. You don't have to buy it. You don't have to go around down talking what they got going on. You just don't have to buy it. That's it. It's not that hard. But if a man is in the midst of the sanctuary, act like you've seen when the Lord flipped them tables over when they were selling doves, and I'm mentioning this here because majority of times when I mention this here, I ask you this question to make sure that you're paying attention to your law. Why were those people selling doves in the temple? Why were they selling doves in the temple? You should know it's in your law. Who can tell me why the men were selling doves in that temple? It's because they were listening to Prince? Why were they doing that? Let me read you that. Then let me read you 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 1. Come to 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 1 first and foremost. Now, I mentioned all these things, so this is how it's set up. What is a theocracy? A theocracy is a governmental structure where a religious leader is the head of that particular society. You know what I'm saying? Iran at one time was considered a theocracy. It was ruled over by the Ayatollah Khomeini. So when you look at Mashiach being after the priesthood of Melchizedek, as testified of, and you would be correct, sir, as testified of in Zechariah chapter 6, in Psalms 110, he becomes king priest. He's the chief ruler. That makes the kingdom of Elohim, or the kingdom of Yasharal, the kingdom of Elohim, the kingdom of Shamayim, the Malkuth and reign of eternity. It makes it a theocracy. You know what I'm saying? Now, when you were in the land, pre-priesthood of Melchizedek, pre-new covenant, you know what I'm saying, under the covenant of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, then it was still a theocracy because the head was the high priest before Saul was made king. You know what I'm talking about? And he ruled over the people, which is why he tell you not to revile the ruler of your people or the gods of your people, the judges, those who are in authority. These were priests. These were priests. This is why Paul tell you in 1 Timothy 5, along with that in your law, about you don't rebuke an elder, but you entreat him as a father, because for you to do that, you breaking the law. He's the ruler over your people. You're not supposed to talk bad about it. I don't care what that nigga doing. And guess what? One thing you seen the Lord ain't never do was revile them men. He checked them men. He never reviled them. And 1 Peter chapter 2 tells you that. 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 1. Make sure I'm in the right spot with it. I'm looking right at it. I feel like I'm overlooking. I'm going to just read it. 2 Peter chapter 2, verse 1. But there were false prophets also among the people, even as there shall be false teachers among you, who privily shall bring in damnable heresies, even denying the Lord that brought them, and bring upon themselves swift destruction. And many shall follow their pernicious ways, by reason of whom the way of truth is evil spoken of. And through covetous shall they with feigned words make merchandise of you, whose judgment now of a long time linger not, and their damnation slumber not. What's going on, Dave? He says, that why Elihu held his peace around. That is correct. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That is absolutely correct. And we can read that because he said that these men were elder, so he was going to wait and hold his peace. Not, I got something to say. I don't care about who that is. I don't care about you being older. Then people move with a different level of comportment at that particular time in history than people do now. See, I'm gonna be honest with you. Most niggas in the world ain't got no respect for nothing or no one. You know what I'm saying? They feel like I'm gonna do what I want to do because I got something to say, and I don't care who you is, and I'll talk to you any kind of way, and I'll say whatever I want to say, and you wicked as hell. You wicked as hell. Because the word don't justify that type of behavior. Just because you believe somebody's a false prophet, I've told you this plenty of times. It's not like I just started telling you this. Just because you believe somebody's a false prophet, just because you believe somebody's wicked, just because you believe somebody is saying something that you don't agree with, does not give you license to operate in a fashion that Yahuwah would not approve of. It doesn't give you that license. Because you don't see that, you don't see these men behaving that way. You don't see it. You can't find it. Your law don't promote it. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to find that. He said, well, the Aaronites who were not the priest's office charged with teaching, every Levite could have had the opportunity to teach, but every Levite didn't teach. You know what I'm saying? Now, the sons of Aaron did their number one task was to focus on ministering of the most holy things, the most qadash things, and ministering in the inner sanctum of the sanctuary, because they were the only ones who were permitted to do so. But all Levites could teach the law, but all Levites did not. And of course, y'all should remember that when we dealt with those courses. Everybody had a different job and a different thing to do. You had some Levites who their explicit duty was to teach the word. That was just their job. That's what they did. And you had others, their job was just to sing. And you have others, they ministered to the sons of Aaron. And then the sons of Aaron did their thing. But being as he's the high priest, they have to know the word. Come over here to John chapter 2. You say, I've seen Judah and Benjamin leave. Yeah. From John chapter 2. From John chapter 2, I don't forgot the other thing I did. Y'all will and I remember. Okay. John 2 and 13. And the Yahudim Passover was at hand, and Yahushua went up to Jerusalem. Keep that in mind for those of you who are not aware, because he mentioned Passover. And this is why Stanley put that Deuteronomy 14, because this pertains to Passover and it pertains to tithing and why these people were doing what they were doing. And he found in the temple those that sold oxen, sheep, and doves and changes of money sitting. And when he had made a scourge of small cords, he drove them out of the temple, the sheep and the oxen, and poured out the changers' money and overthrew the tables. And he said unto them that sold doves, take these things hence. Do not make my Abba's house a house of merchandise. Now, they mentioned verse 17, which is Psalm 69, of him going off on them. But those people were in there for a reason. Of course, that's in Jeremiah chapter 7 about don't make his house a house of merchandise. But come over here and read Deuteronomy 14 of why those men were in the temple selling in the first place for him to overthrow. And see, the issue was not that they were selling. It's where they were selling at. There was no issue with them selling anything that they were selling. They weren't supposed to be selling that in the temple, meaning that when service is going down, when you are in the sanctuary, when you are any place that is set apart for worship, commerce should not be being done in there. That's not what that's for. That's why I mentioned that to you. That's how you know that it's not the pastor's job to facilitate economic growth for the people. That's not his job. That's not the priest's job. This never was. That's not how that works. Shalom, Sister Regina. That's not how any of that works. See, some people look at you look at this person as he's supposed to be a community leader and he's supposed to do this, that, there, and the third. Get you a civil rights leader. Get you an economic leader. That's not his job. Yeah, and I can grab that for you also. And then along with the Job 32. That's not his job. It is not a pastor's job. It is not an apostle's job. It is not a preacher's job to help you come up economically. That is not his job. It is not his job to create forms of income for the community. That's not his job. That is not what Yahuwah sent him to do. If that man, just leave it alone. If if a man chooses to do that and Yahuwah increases it and he does that on his own time, blessed be him. But as for sitting down ministry-wise, that's not his job, because how is he going to be able to do that and to be able to do the service to Yahuwah? He can't do both. Shalom, Brother Ernie. Well, I mean, with this particular instance, this is during Passover, so there were plenty of fellowship. And we finna read that in the law, because we didn't talk about it plenty of times over the years. Deuteronomy 4, that's it right there. It's Deuteronomy 14 and 21. You know what I'm saying? That's not his job. That's not his job. Ain't nobody out there for you. Deuteronomy 14 and 21. You shall not eat. Oh, there you go, boy. That's all you right there. You shall not eat of anything that die of itself. You shall give it unto the stranger that in your gates. You just gotta find an atomizer for that green. Yeah. That he may eat it. You may sell it unto an alien, for you are qadash people unto Yahuwah your Elohim. You shall not see the kid in his mother's milk. You shall truly tithe all the increase of your seed that the field bring forth year by year. And you shall eat before Yahuwah your Elohim in the place which he shall choose to place his name there, the tithe of corn, of wine, of oil, of the firstlings of your herds, of your flocks, that you may learn to fear Yahuwah your Elohim always. And if the way be too long for you, so that you're not able to carry it, if the place be too far from you, with Yahuwah your Elohim, shall choose to set his name there, when Yahuwah your Elohim have baruched you. You shall turn it into money and bind up the money in your hand. And you shall go into the place which Yahuwah your Elohim shall choose. And you shall bestow that money for whatsoever your soul lust after, for oxen, for sheep, for wine, for strong drink, for whatsoever your soul desire. And you shall eat there before Yahuwah your Elohim, and you shall rejoice, you and your household. That's why those men were in the temple selling. Because if it was, you have to remember something. You can see this in Acts chapter 2 to just get a glimpse in your mind, which of course this is not necessarily the case. It is, but it ain't in Deuteronomy 14. All these people were coming from different locations. So they may have not been able to bring the tithe of their land, the tithe of wine, oil, oxen, and all this type of stuff because of the long distance that they were traveling. So he would tell them to turn it into money. And then listen, because this is how people say, well, tithes is not money. You're going to see where this man makes this statement because all that stuff they bring. I just told Shonda, let me tell y'all something, right? During the time of when you was in the land and the feast day came, how do y'all believe that those people ate? How do you believe the food was supplied? Somebody answer that for me. How do y'all believe the food was supplied during the feast at that particular time? Does anybody have an idea? Share with me your thoughts. I'll give you a moment. You're being belligerent. Nobody? Anybody? How did these people were able to eat? How was this facilitated? How was this done? Well, let me ask you this here. How many of y'all have ever even thought about it? But you ain't got no answer.
I do that.
Nobody online got no answer. Civic ain't got no answer. You ain't got the answer, Civic. How, Civic?
They taught that they flocks, whatever they have for their animals.
Yes, the feast days was facilitated because the people brought food, because they brought the sacrifices. Indeed, they brought that's how that was done. I mentioned that because absolutely, my dad. I mentioned that because in 2024, how do people think? I know it would take a second for y'all to get on the thing offering. You said they had to bring something. It does say that in Deuteronomy 16, the gleaning of the field. They didn't necessarily have to purchase it, but they could have purchased it, which is what is being mentioned in Deuteronomy 14. I mentioned that because in quote unquote 2024, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people believe that it's the minister's job to supply these things. You know what I'm saying? But again, I'm just pointing to the fact that it was a communal thing. You got to remember you come into sacrifice. If you come into feast, you come into sacrifice. So if you come into sacrifice, you're supplying the sacrifice. The priest ate the sacrifice, and the law tell you the priest ate it with you. You know what I'm talking about? So this is how this was done. You know what I'm talking about? It's not he's supposed to figure that out. I'm mentioning that because that's the mentality in these modern times that we live in. That's not how the word sets that up. You know what I'm talking about? I done heard people get upset because certain congregations charge people to eat at their feast days, and that's their business. I'm not getting into people's stuff. I don't know what type of money these people got, but if you thought you were just supposed to show up on the 3 times a year when this man tell you not to come empty-handed, that say more about you than it do about them. That's right, Brother Francis. Go ahead and run me Deuteronomy 16, man. I think it's about just read verse 1. I'm gonna stay over here in Deuteronomy 14.
Observe the month of Abib and keep the Passover unto Yahuwah your Elohim. For in the month of Abib, Yahuwah your Elohim brought you forth out of Egypt by night. You shall therefore sacrifice the Passover unto Yahuwah your Elohim of the flock and the herd in a place which Yahuwah shall choose.
And you shall do what?
Eat no leavened bread with it. 7 days shall you eat unleavened bread therewith.
It's the what?
Bread of affliction.
For you came where?
Forth out of the land of Egypt in haste.
That you might what?
Remember the day when you came forth out of the land of Egypt, all the days of your life.
Drop down to verse 9.
Say 7 weeks shall you number unto you. Begin to number the 7 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
From you begin to put the sickle to the corn.
Mm-hmm.
You shall keep the feast of weeks unto Yahuwah your Elohim with a tribute of a free will offering.
Pause. He said a who?
Of a free will offering.
Pause. What that think this mean? Tell them what free will offering is, man. See, I ain't going where you think I'm going with that.
Nadabah. Free will offering. Voluntary.
A voluntary offering. He said of your what? Of your hand, right? Which Yahuwah what?
Which you shall give unto Yahuwah according as Yahuwah your Elohim have baruched.
Now you know that he tell you to come bring a free will offering during Feast of Weeks, and Yahushua gave you a free will offering in return. He gave you one when he free will offered himself, and he gave you. Remember what we go back to Psalm 51, man. Tell me what verse 8 say, and I'll tell you what word I'm looking for when we get there.
Say, make me to hear joy and gladness.
Indeed, Brother Ernest.
The bones you have broken may rejoice.
Mm-hmm.
Hide your face from my sins and blot out all my iniquities.
Mm-hmm.
Create in me a clean heart, O Elohim, and renew a right ruach within me.
Come on.
Cast me not away from your presence and take not your qadash ruach from me.
That's right.
Restore unto me the joy of your salvation.
And what else?
Uphold me with your free ruach.
Tell them what free ruach mean again. We talked about it since we've been dealing with this, but tell them again.
Free is nadib, inclined, willing, noble, generous.
A willing, generous spirit. And he just said that the free will offering is what? It's willingly. Almost the same word, probably the root word of what was used for free will offering. So why is that important? John 16:7.
Nevertheless, I tell you the truth. It is expedient for you that I go away.
Mm-hmm.
For if I go not away, the Comforter will not come unto you.
Mm-hmm.
But if I depart, I will send him unto you.
Does that not sound like a free will offering to you? He giving you that for free. Don't cost you nothing. How do we know this? Romans 10:7 on general principle. We still got to go look at Job 32, Ecclesiastes. I think it's 7 and 1 to 5 and 1 and 2.
Who shall ascend into the deep? That is to bring a Mashiach up again from the dead.
What up?
But what saith it? The word is near you in
Where?
your mouth, in your heart. That is the word of faith which we preach.
What up?
That if you shall confess with your mouth, Lord Yahushua, and shall believe in your heart that Elohim have raised him from the dead, you shall be saved.
You get a free will offering. That's it. Free of charge. Don't cost you nothing. Now, when you come back over here to Deuteronomy 16, and he mentioned that in verse 10, we in verse 11, though, he's saying that this is something that you want to do. And again, the point of the matter is going to go back when you see a lot of things. There are not a lot of obligatory offerings that the people had to do. This is something that you want to do. And as we just read in Numbers 5, it said all the qadash things go to who, Sibit? The priest. Why is this the case? You have to understand something of how the socialistic theocracy of the kingdom of Yasharal was set up. The priest did not have income like the people had income. So it's set up for those who are not set up to be able to increase their wealth themselves. That is a stranger. If he is waxing poor, that's literally the poor. That is a literal child, a young person. And a dude I know gave a strong point that who would be considered to be a young person? It would be somebody around the age of 19 and 20 and under. Because you see, remember that he said that everybody 20 and up can get in. It's not getting in. Just the young people. You know what I'm talking about? So when you look at that, if you could be considered an orphan until you became of age, which would be at the least 20 years old. You know what I'm talking about? At the least 20 years old. At the least. You know what I'm talking about? So you got the stranger, you got the poor, you got a widow. That's a woman who's a widow indeed. I have to always say this here, man. You are not a widow if you had a child and you were not married to the man you had a child from, and he's still alive, but he's not taking care of his child. That is not a widow. Yeah, selling what they had and contributing, that's something different. It's still the socialistic aspect, you know what I'm talking about? But they sold excess lands and things of that nature and pooled it for that purpose for the priest, the fatherless, the widow, the strangers, like the law tell you to do. See, we talked about this during Unleavened Bread about people using that. It is a free will offering indeed. Using that all things in common as a means to get people to sell all their stuff and give it to them and exploit them. You know what I'm talking about? So and we talked about that during unleavened bread, but that's definitely a free will offering. They didn't have to do it. You know what I'm talking about? Read me Leviticus 25 and 6, please. Because I know in these modern times, people call single mothers widows according to the text. You're not a widow. Do you not understand? How can you be a widow if you had a child outside the way of righteousness? That doesn't make you a widow, especially if that nigga's alive. Do you not know what a widow is? Somebody has to die. If that nigga's alive, you're not a widow. And it don't matter if you was married to the nigga and the nigga ran off. You still not a widow. That nigga's alive. Oh, you could have. You know what I'm saying? But if he died and you're a widow indeed, and that means you did not go and remarry. You know what I'm talking about? Or you got to a certain point in age where you do not want to remarry. Because that's why he said if you hit a certain age, that's why he say a widow is a widow indeed if she's at least 60 years old. It means your children have to be grown. He said, let them look out for you. And if you don't have any grandchildren or you don't have any sons to look out for you, then it's the congregation's job to look out for you. It's not the congregation's job to look out for you and you got big old rusty behind sons and grandsons. Let them niggas take care of you. Meaning that if you have individuals that can be able to, especially them your sons, to facilitate that, that's their job. That's their job. You know, so he said Naomi was an actual widow. Yes, she was. Yes, she was. Read me Leviticus 25:6. We'll get to Acts 2 in a minute.
Saying the Shabbat of the land shall be meat for you and for your servant, and for your maid, and for your hired servant, and for your stranger that sojourn with you, and for your cattle, and for the beasts.
I said I'm talking about the Sabbath for the 7. You know what I'm talking about? 7 years you let the land rest. You know what I'm talking about? Come on, give me Deuteronomy 16:11. Hold on, we got like Job 32, Acts 2, Ecclesiastes 7 or 5:1. We'll get around that. Come on with it.
And you shall rejoice before Yahuwah your Elohim, you and your son and your daughter.
He said, you and your who?
Your son and your daughter.
And who else?
Your manservant, your maidservant.
And who else?
The Levite that is within your gates.
And who else?
The stranger.
And who else?
The fatherless.
And who else?
And the widow that are among you, in the place which Yahuwah your Elohim have chosen.
You notice who he named? He named that you do this with your whole household, and then you make sure that you get the Levite, the stranger, the fatherless, and the widow, because they don't have. Now, many years ago, we went over that about how the Levites don't have an inheritance. He said Yahuwah is their inheritance. This is why Paul makes the statement that a steward must be found faithful. This is why he said, especially if they labor in word and in doctrine. This is why they make that statement, because of their dedication to their chosen profession. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, that's probably little bro. I didn't change his name to Jason Bender. But I say that because look here, right? A lot of people don't like T.D. Jakes and Joel Osteen because they got money. But then some people don't realize in actuality that those men don't even take a salary from the churches that they serve. See, you see all the money coming in and you just automatically assume that they getting it. But then you forget that these niggas sell books. They get paid for speaking. It's people who will pay them 6 figures to come up there and lie. And this don't even be no church service. You know what I'm saying? You know, these men have New York Times bestsellers. People buy these books. Now, you don't have to, this is not to justify these men. I don't care about these men. But at the same token, you can't sit back and say they getting all that tithe money from the people. And then the men, at least on paper, as far as it looks, they don't get paid from that. You got a lot of preachers who get paid salaries. You know what I'm talking about? Now, how some of them go in the word to justify that, I can't answer that. And when I say justify that, I'm not necessarily saying that they're wrong. I'm saying I don't know how they go about to explain it and let the word justify their stand. But what I'm talking about is a nigga like T.D. Jakes ain't got to get no money from them people. He don't have to. Because you hanging with niggas like Puppy, you think these people ain't paying this nigga a whole bunch of money to tell them a bunch of nothing? You know what I'm talking about? But these are celebrity type dudes. You know what I'm saying? They're famous. People know them. You see, if you wanted to point to somebody who was really getting over on the people, you would want to point at somebody like Jesse Duplantis. You know what I'm talking about? Creflo Dollar, Kenneth Copeland, Oral Roberts, even though he dead. You know what I'm talking about? Maybe Pat Robertson, even though he dead. See, most of y'all may not know that. You know what I'm saying? People I grew up with know that. I used to want to go on the 700 Club and crack a whole dome in with some. I ain't even know no word. I just felt like he was a pretentious, sanctimonious SOB who just got on TV and lied every day. You know what I'm talking about? Man, that 700 Club come on up like, look at this lying bastard. Just lying. You know what I'm talking about? If y'all don't know who Oral Roberts is, look him up. You know what I'm talking about? I know y'all probably know who Billy Graham is. No white folks love Billy Graham. You know what I'm talking about? You know who Billy Graham is? My God, today. Boop, you know who Billy Graham is? I forgot Sylvie from up north. He don't know about them type of people. Even though this man went crawl across the country. You know what I'm saying? But all jokes aside, people like Joyce Meyer and Creflo Dollar and that other white woman who run with Joyce Meyer and Juanita Bynum, them the people who really getting money. Cause ain't nobody paying to see Juanita Bynum. Kenneth Copeland got a lot of books. He still ain't even satisfied with the book. He still wanting the people money. Come on, man. Read verse 12.
And you shall remember that you was a bondman in Egypt. You shall observe and do these statutes.
Drop down to verse 15. Hold on, you can read verse 13. Now, see, Brother Marvin just mentioned somebody who was getting paid. I done told y'all about James Baker. Jimmy and Tammy Faye. I was a child looking at these people come on TV lying, getting money. See, Jim Baker went to prison about this. He went to prison about that. Taking these people money. I'm talking about all that there, man. He say Pat Robertson used to have a yearly retreat with the Almighty. Yeah, he did. That boy say Billy Graham superstar. Billy Graham was the white folks love Billy Graham. They love Billy Graham. Billy Graham packing out stadiums, man. There's more people coming to see Billy Graham than coming to see a football game. You know what I'm talking about? In the same stadium. These people were known. You understand what I'm telling you? But yeah, man, look here, man. I forgot what man, Marvin, what their ministry was called, man. I can't even remember the name of their ministry, man. You know what I'm talking about? But boy, Jim Baker. Well, I think that man would get these people for about $500,000 a year, $500 million a year. You know what I'm talking about? Boy, they were getting it. Some of y'all, some of y'all people watch doggone what it is 10 every night. Every day. I'm talking about, boy, if you see a nigga on TBN, boy, that nigga lying. That's how I knew Steve Harvey wasn't about nothing, because he was on TBN all the time. I told you, man, Deion Sanders stayed on TBN, man. I don't care nothing about that Coach Prime jump, man. Boy, if you on TBN, boy, I'm talking about, boy, you sour as a lemon, boy. I don't even know if people still look at the Trinity Broadcast Network. You had a nigga who used to sell the prayer rugs and all that. Them people lying to you. That's what you call making merchandise of the people. Because they, remember, right? Give me Luke 12 and 15. Now you see this right here. You know what your law say when it comes to this here. Luke 12 and 15. Listen what he said.
And he said unto them, take heed and beware of covetousness.
Because the man's what?
Life consists not in the abundance of the things which he possessed.
Now, when you turn around and you look at what you call it. Dang, what you call that jump, man? Oh, when you look at Exodus 20 in your law. That's it. The PTL, praise the Lord. That's what it would call. PTL, praise the Lord. You know what I'm talking about? I appreciate that. He said, Deion was on TBN preaching. Man, I told y'all, man, Deion Sanders used to be in Jacksonville all the time. Come around here and fool with R.J. Washington, man. The Harvest Dome. Man, I remember my homegirl was going to the Harvest Dome in high school, and she told me they had an ATM in there, and I said, y'all going there? It's like 1997, you know what I'm talking about? So I'm like, y'all got an ATM in the church? That was amazing to me. And it wasn't amazing that they had one. It was amazing that y'all still went. Because I'm like, why y'all got an automatic teller machine in there? What y'all need that for? You know what I'm saying? I used to mess with her about it. She explained it to me. I said, I understand. But the illest thing to me, though, is what First Baptist Church did. They were like, nigga, you got to have your tax return? These people want your tax return? You want my tax return? Them people say, boy, they say First Baptist was taking their tithes off top. Nigga, like the mob. Nigga, I need my cut. If a nickel bag gets sold in the park, nigga, I want in. What we at with? What in Deuteronomy 16 and 13? Listen to him.
So you shall observe the Feast of Tabernacles 7 days. After that, you have gathered in your corn and your wine.
Mm-hmm.
You shall rejoice in your feast, you and your son and your daughter and your manservant and your maidservant.
And who else?
The stranger, the fatherless, and the widow that are within your gates.
He made it was so nice he had to tell you twice. Go ahead.
7 days shall you keep a solemn feast unto Yahuwah your Elohim in the place which Yahuwah shall choose. Because Yahuwah your Elohim shall baruch you in all your increase and in all your works of your hands. Therefore you shall surely rejoice.
3 times.
In a year shall all your males appear before Yahuwah your Elohim in the place which he shall choose.
And the what?
The feast of unleavened bread.
The feast of what?
Of weeks.
And the feast of what?
Tabernacles.
And you should not what?
Appear before Yahuwah empty.
That's when it's obligatory. You know what I'm talking about? That's when anything else is not obligatory per se. He said they were moving Frank White in the church. They was. He said tax return as pimping. He said my grandma old church sent her a letter for tithe and had an ATM in it. Yeah, I done seen people, news stories, people talking about churches putting people out because they didn't tithe enough. You know what I'm saying? All that is against the word. That's not no word. Because you're not supposed to be keeping records of what anybody gave. If you're keeping a ledger saying Brother Civic gave this, Sister such and such gave that, no, you're not supposed to do that. You know what I'm saying? Because it doesn't matter. You know what I'm talking about? It don't matter who gave what. I'm put it, and I told you this before. I'm going to reiterate it again. If you gave a free will offering, right, and you gave $500,000, and this person gave 50, it's all going to be relative to the level of increase that man gave you. Your $500,000 ain't no better than his 50 in the eyesight of Yahuwah because that's equity. See, it's not equity in your mind. Because in a natural man's mind, he thinks the person that did the most should get the most recognition or have the most say. But in reality, you just had more of an increase. So that $500,000 really meant nothing to you. You didn't really give anything because you got it. See, if you had $5 million and you gave $500,000, now you got $4.5 million. You ain't gave nothing. But if you got $100 and you gave 50, you gave a lot. You gave a lot. But y'all know that from the parable in Luke. The Lord taught you that. Because it's about equity. It's not about who did what and who do the most. That's how man judged these things. This is along the lines of what his apostles was arguing about when he said, who amongst us should be the greatest? And that's why he said, he that is greatest among you, let him be your servant, because we don't do that over here. You know what I'm talking about? He said the Gentiles execute authority and there are benefactors. That means they use their authority as a means to benefit off of you. That means make merchandise of you or exploit you. Get that for them if you would, sir. Indeed, Omar. Give me Matthew 20, man. Tell me what 22 says.
But Yahushua answered and said, you know not what you ask. Are you able to drink of the cup that I shall drink?
Now, I'm mentioning all of these things for you to get a practical understanding of how a socialistic theocracy works. You know what I'm talking about? Because it's just the putting in of what everybody has and everybody does it. The difference is everybody does. It's not equality. It's not everybody giving the same thing. It's equity. Because remember, there's no such thing as equality. Because equality means everybody starts from the same point with the same. Nobody has an advantage. You know what I'm talking about? And that's not reality of life. There's no such thing as equality. Your daddy could be an idiot. And his daddy could be one of the most intelligent people you've ever come across. His daddy could be slothful. And his daddy could be a grinder. There's nowhere in the world that there's no such thing as equality. It doesn't exist. Equality is what oppressed people say that they want in order to make themselves feel equal to a higher class of people in a particular land at a particular time. You know what I'm saying? Like you hear women say this. I'm gonna tell y'all something real, right? I probably told you this before. This just was on my mind the other day because I heard some women going back and forth arguing. Women aren't a threat to anybody in the world for one reason and one reason alone, because you're asking someone to give you power. You're asking someone to give. If you have to ask somebody to give it to you, that means you ain't got no power because the person who gave it to you can take it from you. If you have, because if you really, because people say who run the world, if you ran the world, you would take it. You wouldn't say it's time to let women, you wouldn't say any of that because you would take it. That's just how that works. You don't have to like it. You don't have to agree with it. That's just how it works. I never telling somebody this. I tell y'all this all the time. I don't have any, I don't care who run, I don't care. But I deal with the reality of life of what's going on. I'm not going to go by what I like. I think it should. I don't deal with none of that. I deal with reality. And the reality is, in any situation in life, if you have to ask for power, then you're not a threat. Because people take power. You know what I'm talking about? We didn't ask, he feigned asking, telling Moses, tell him let my people go. Because Yahuwah had no intent on asking Pharaoh nothing. Nigga, I'm taking that. You know what I'm talking about? I'm taking that. I'm finna destroy your gods. I'm finna destroy your land, and I'm taking that. We didn't ask for the land of Canaan. You took it. You took it. You know what I'm talking about? That man said, I raised Pharaoh for the specific cause for my power to be made known. See, you don't pay attention to that when you see that. I was telling niggas that I mention this all the time, man. Power dynamics is the way that you have to view everything. If you view things through gender, you view things through race, you view things through this, that, there, and the third, you always gonna be at the bottom. Because you ain't got no nuts. Because you're not moving in the way that you're supposed to move, man. You want to be in the strongest position that you could possibly be in. So the strongest position for us to possibly be in is this. 1 John chapter 4, verse 1. Run that for me. This is the strongest position that we can be in. Because this is where you're going to get your power from. But you don't want to do that. See, you want to wait on Kamala, or you want to think that no, that ain't what, you don't get your power from man. That's why I say we don't trust. I'll read it for you. Don't even worry about it. Come on. And 1.
Beloved, believe not every ruach, but try the ruachs whether they are of Elohim, because many false prophets are going out into the world.
Come on with.
Hereby know you the ruach of Elohim. Every ruach that confess that Yahushua HaMashiach is come in the flesh is of Elohim.
Come on.
And every spirit that confess not that Yahushua HaMashiach is come in the flesh is not of Elohim.
He not a God.
And this is that of anti-Mashiach, whereof you have heard that it should come, and even now already is it in the world.
Go ahead.
You are of Elohim, little children that have overcome them, because greater is he that is in you than he that is in the world.
That's right.
They are of the world, therefore
greater is he that is what?
In you.
Than he that is in the where?
In the world.
Why?
They are of the world, therefore speak they of the world.
That's right.
And the world hear them. We are of Elohim. He that know Elohim hear us. He that is not of Elohim hear not us. Hereby know we the ruach of truth and the ruach of error.
That's where your power comes from. But you don't want that power. You're not going to get no power from voting. I'm not saying that you can't vote. I'm not saying that you're sinning for voting. Listen to what's being said. See, one of the biggest things that black people do is, and women get accused of doing this more often than men, but men do it a lot too, is that's you listen with your emotions. You know what I'm saying? You're filtering words through your feelings. You can't do that and have power. I'm talking about in any area of life. I'm not even talking about power as far as rule is concerned. You can't have power over your flesh. You can't have power over your spirit. You can't have power over your mind if you look, move, listen, and see things through your feelings. You'll always be in an oppressed state. Satan always gonna have you in a weevil lock. Ain't gonna be no way around it. You say, Yaju said he was writing a letter to the... Yeah, man, I told that goofy nigga that directly. I say, nigga, you ain't God, nigga, talking about you writing the Catholic Church to ask you to give you such and such, nigga. I say, nigga, Yahuwah take that, nigga. What is you talking about? When you look at Yahuwah talking about, let me get that, I'm going to write a letter and that. No, I'm taking that, nigga. I'm taking that. Do you not recall what it said in Revelation? Man, that man said the nations are angry. He said he coming with a sharp sword, and in righteousness he gonna judge and make war. That man taking that. Man, David ain't asked nobody for nothing. He took that. He took that. That's just how that goes as a man, man. If you talking about having power, well, you got to take that. How do you take power with Yahuwah? Believe on the one whom he has sent, and you trust in Yahuwah forever. You have everlasting strength. That's where your power comes from. Yeah, he's super crazy. You already know, Dave, man. We ain't gonna touch on that. You know, we done had our conversation with that nigga. We gonna let that nigga stay where he at. That nigga like Beetlejuice, boy. You call that nigga might pop up. You know what I'm talking about? But yeah, man, you gotta know that. You gotta know that. Well, if you don't know that, man, Yahuwah ain't asking for nothing, he taking it. Because if he gotta ask for it, then he ain't got no power. That's why I don't even pay attention to those conversations when I hear women talk like that. You're asking a man to give you equality? That means you ain't got no power. You're not a threat. You're not a threat. Because you would just take it. We need fair wages. You're not a threat. This is why they don't view black people as a threat. Because you steady asking somebody to give you something. You know what I'm talking about? Who has power over you? They're not going to give you anything. Because you don't even have the thought process. And see, when I'm talking about just taking it, I'm not talking about necessarily violence. You understand what I'm telling you? But you're going to forge your way and say, no, let me get that. Let me get that. Let me get that. You know what I'm talking about? Which is why the Lord said, read me John 10:1.
Truly, truly, I say unto you, he that enter not by the door into the sheepfold, but climb up some other way, the same as a thief and a robber.
Mm-hmm.
But he that enter by the door is the shepherd of the sheep.
Shepherd
to him
of
the
the
porter
sheep.
open, and the sheep hear his voice.
Hear
and
his
he call
voice.
his own sheep by name and lead them out.
And he lead them out.
When he put forth his own sheep, he go before them, and the sheep follow him. They know his
Mm-hmm.
voice. And a stranger will they not follow, but will flee from him.
Mm-hmm.
They know not the voice of strangers. This parable spake Yahushua unto them, but they understood not what things they were which he spake unto them.
Mm-hmm.
Then said Yahushua unto them again, truly, truly, I say unto you, I am the door of the sheep. All that ever came before me are thieves and robbers.
They thieves and robbers.
But the sheep did not hear them. I am the door. By me, if any man enter in, he shall be saved.
Saved.
And shall go in and out and find pasture.
Pasture.
The thief come not, but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. I am come that they might have life and that they might have it more abundantly.
Pause. Now, when he said the thief don't do nothing but to come to steal, kill, and destroy, it's just taking back to that conversation we had with David when they took all the stuff and he went and took it back. He didn't ask for his wives back. He didn't ask for the stuff back. He went and took it. Yahushua didn't come to Satan and say, man, you've been stealing, killing, and destroying, man. Can you give me life and more abundantly so I can give it to my people? No, he went and hung on a tree and resurrected from the dead and took it. He took it. I ain't asking this nigga for nothing. I'm taking that from you. He said, he who have power over death, that is the devil. He took that power from him. You ain't got to give it to me, nigga. I ain't going to ask you for it. I'm going to take it. So you have the power of life because the Lord had the intestinal fortitude to take it. So what does that mean? When you take hold of faith, you take hold of power. Stop worrying about these people. You can't say your mind is in heaven and then you worrying about ruling over a world full of sinners. This ain't none of your business. Who gives a damn about Kamala Harris? I don't give a damn about Donald Trump. I don't give a damn about Joe Biden. They have no bearing on nothing we got going on. You can't tell me who is your Elohim in heaven, your mighty one in heaven, and you worry about a goddamn sinner in Washington, D.C. You worry about an election. Nigga, who in control? The president or Yahuwah? Who the hell you think put this goofy nigga there? You think Kamala Harris rose up at this time because for times like this because they just wanted to have a woman president? Come on, man. That's right, Nate. Come on, man. Are you serious, my nigga? Do you remember what I told y'all, man? Look this stuff up, man, when you knew ancient Rome was done? When they let a woman get in power. Man, if they let a woman get in power, man, it's over with. Then you supposed to know it ain't no woman in power because she had to pick a man. She had to pick a man to be vice president. Man, they're not finna let two women be in no spot. She got to have an overseer, nigga. She got to have a handler. It's got to be some. And guess what? The doggone man who they put up there, his advisor is a goddamn tranny. These the people, you worry about these people? How you worry about these people? And these people wicked as hell. I don't care what they do over here. I don't care what they do in any of these countries, nowhere. It ain't got nothing to do with me. You know why? Hebrews 11 and 14, you know what we finna read. 13, matter of fact. Man, that junk ain't got nothing to do. Don't care nothing about them people, man. What is we talking about? Man, you're supposed to be serving God peacefully and quietly, man, executing strongly in the faith of Yahuwah and let these sinners do what it is. That's what your forefathers did in the land. You thought they walked around worrying about what them people were doing in Egypt? The only time they got caught up in what these people were doing is when they wanted to worship their gods. They didn't care about what the Philistines was doing. That's none of my business. Go ahead, man. See, matter of fact, you care about this stuff because you want to live how them people living. While mentioning the name of Yahuwah, you're going to go to hell. And why would you do that? That's crazy. Come on, man.
These all died in faith, not having received the promises, but having seen them afar off and
persuaded and embraced them.
And confessed that they were strangers and pilgrims
on the earth, baby.
For they that say such things declare plainly that they seek a country.
They seek a country.
And truly, if they had been mindful of that from whence they came out, they might have had opportunity to have returned.
Might have returned.
But now they desire a better, that is, a heavenly, wherefore Elohim is not ashamed to be called their Elohim, for he had prepared for them a city.
Prepared for them a city. Come on.
By faith, Abraham, when he was
That's
tried.
good. So, is this man your Elohim? Give me Psalms 146 to go by what we were talking about earlier. Because this Psalms 146 and 1 is what nigga's problem is.
Praise you, Yahuwah, O my soul. While I live, I will praise Yahuwah. I will sing praises unto my Elohim while I have any being. Put not your trust in princes and the Son of Man, in whom no help. His breath go forth, he returns to his earth.
He said, don't put no trust in who?
In princes.
Well, there is no
help.
No who?
No help.
No who?
No help.
Why you heading around here worrying about, man, flesh and blood for? Tell him what help he is, man.
Teshua, salvation, deliverance.
Ain't no deliverance with them. Ain't no deliverance with them. Ain't no salvation with them. What you looking for, they can't give you. Give me Lamentations chapter 5, man. Tell me what verse 7 say. Matter of fact, this started at verse 1. Lamentations 5 and 1, man.
Remember, O Yahuwah, what has come upon us. Consider and behold our reproach. Our inheritance is turned to strangers, our houses to aliens. We are orphans and fatherless, our mothers widows. We have drunken our water for money. Our wood is sold unto us. Our necks under persecution, we labor and have no rest.
We labor and have no what?
No rest.
My God, today.
We have given the hand to the Egyptians and to the Assyrians to be satisfied with bread. Our fathers have
Run it again. Listen what he said now.
We have given the hand to the Egyptians.
You to give a hand to who? The Egyptians, the Assyrians?
To be satisfied with bread.
To be satisfied with bread.
Our fathers have sinned and are not. And we have borne their iniquities.
Now you wearing, you carrying, tell them what born iniquities is on the high, man. That's right, Omar. I done forgot all the other places we got.
Born is sabal, that's to bear a load, to drag oneself along.
You gotta drag this punishment along, nigga.
And iniquities is our own.
Carry that punishment. You gotta drag that with you. Come on, man.
Servants have ruled over us.
Who ruled over us?
Servants have
ruled over us.
Servants.
You just read that in your law. He said you can't eat nothing who died of itself. You can give it to the stranger, though. See, your mind so focused on this here, man, it's servants ruling over you, cuz. Because you put your you looking for man to save you. You ain't looking to Yahuwah. My God, today. Come on.
Servants have ruled over us. None that do deliver us out of their hand.
My God, today.
We got our bread of our lives because of the sword of the wilderness. Our skin was black like an oven because of the terrible famine. They ravished the woman in Zion, the maids in the cities of Yehuda.
God, you know, if y'all know what that means they sexually violated these women. Go ahead.
Princes are hanged up by their hand. The faces of elders were not honored. They took the young men to grind, and the children fell under the wood.
What happened?
The elders have ceased from the gate, the young men from their music.
My God.
The joy of our heart is ceased. Our dance is turned into mourning.
They're crying.
The crown is fallen from our head. Woe unto us that we have sinned.
The crown is fallen from your head. Destruction unto us because we have committed sin. Listen to him.
For this our heart is faint. For these things our eyes are dim. Because of the mountain of Zion, which is desolate, the foxes walk upon it. You, O Yahuwah, remain forever. Your throne from generation to generation. Wherefore do you forget us forever and forsake us so long time? Turn you us unto you, O Yahuwah. We shall be returned. Renew our days of old. But you have utterly rejected us. You are very wroth against us.
Now I got one more for you. I'm trying to remember where it's at. I thought it was in chapter 5. He read all of it too. That man say you orphans. Your fatherless, your mothers are widows. This man say in a particular passage that's in my brain, man, he said, man, you sought from help from a people who couldn't save you. And there it is right there for Lamentation chapter 4. You can give me verse 13. Listen what it says.
For the sins of her prophets, the iniquities of her priests that have shed the blood of the just in the midst of her, they have wandered as blind men in the streets.
Read that again. You want to know why a lot of stuff our people suffering? Because y'all niggas killed the people who God sent to you. You know what I'm talking about? The people who really work for you, you treated them bad. You know what I'm talking about? I'm going to show you another one where he said that. So you got to understand something here, man. Jeremiah, I got you, man. Just hold on. Y'all drop him in. I try to keep up with him. I try to put in there, work in there, which y'all mentioned. I know it's Acts 2. He just mentioned Jeremiah 17. He said I had a question about that in Lamentations when he said it was foxes roam upon us. Oh, foxes is considered to be a slick or sly animal. You know what I'm saying? Someone of a devious animal. That's the reputation that one had. But we can read that also. That's Luke 13. I know we got Acts 2. We got Job 32, Ecclesiastes, Matthew 11, 12, Act 2. I remember all that. We still in Deuteronomy 14. Because all this is spinning from what we were talking about there also. You know what I'm saying? Because we've kind of touched on everything. And like I said, I ain't got to keep telling all the same thing about the same thing. You know what I'm talking about? We can still work this in so you can see how these things work. Really, I just want to continue for you to understand the broad structure of what a socialistic theocracy is. This is something where everyone is involved. You know what I'm talking about? It's not because like you said, man, like with Moses and like what it said in Hebrews 13, the person who has to facilitate the word already has a burden on them. You know what I'm talking about? They already, because they and when we talk about burden, we're not talking about burden is for something that's negative. That's a responsibility. He's already has a responsibility that most people don't want. Most people want the responsibility of being seen and the esteem that they believe a preacher gets. Most people don't want the responsibility of having care and concern for people's soul. Like we talked about Wednesday, who can have compassion on him that is ignorant and out of the way? You know what I'm saying? And I mentioned this earlier, a little bit before I got to the house. And I know I done told you all this plenty of time before. One of the aspects that I learned, because I was having a conversation with people on Threads, they was getting offended. And they was getting offended about the aspect of the thought process of a lot of men who deal with a woman who has a child. And you have a lot of dudes who want to replace the father of that child when they're dealing with that woman. What does that mean? That means if they believe this nigga's a deadbeat, a criminal, any of these type of things, you know what I'm talking about? And he's performing that role. He believes that child should not want to have any association, period, with their father and only see them as their father. And then they get upset when that child see their daddy and they want to fool with their daddy. And he gets the harsh reality of being reminded of, that wasn't your child, cuz. Y'all remember a while back I told you that nigga making that video talking about he was going to make this woman's kids call him daddy? Like, why you want another man's child to call you daddy? What's wrong with you, my nigga? See, when I hear stuff like that, my mind go to thinking, this nigga a pervert. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm not saying he is a pervert. This is just where my mind goes. This nigga a pervert. You know what I'm talking about? Because I've never met any type of man with any level of masculinity and self-respect that wants another man's child to call him daddy because that child lived with him and he paid the bills. Nigga, you weird, cuz. Nigga, if you want a child to call you daddy so bad, nigga, just go have your own children, cuz. Just go do that. If that's so important to you. Because if I told you before, I wouldn't care who it was. I wouldn't care if I was with a woman with a child. I wouldn't care if it was my nieces and nephews. I wouldn't care if it was my grandchildren. I wouldn't care if it was my homeboy child and he died and he was locked up and they was in my house. You should manifest love to a child simply because they're under your roof and they're a child. Why would you not show love to a child? What is the reason for not showing? There's no reason for that. So I don't want to sit back and look at, well, I'm going to treat your child like they mine. You should treat every child like that who you come across, my nigga. I'm not talking about on the aspect of an emotional attachment, some type of mental type of deal, but that you would extend the same love, courtesy, direction, guidance, and correction to any child because you would want that for your child, my nigga. That's goddamn common courtesy. Like, what's wrong with you niggas, man? You know what I'm talking about? Shalom, bro. Yeah, get your rest, my G. You know what I'm talking about? Like, come on, man. Be real with yourself, man. But I'm telling you, and I'm telling you this because I done seen it in real life. I'm not telling you I'm not talking about no internet talking point, man. It's niggas out here, man. They want another nigga child to be theirs. Nigga, that's weird. You know what I'm talking about? That's not your jit, cuz. And when that child get grown, oh, now you want to fool with your daddy. Nigga, that's their daddy, cuz. They got a bond with that man you'll never have. You'll never have that bond with them, bro. Ever. I don't care what you did for them. You know what I'm talking about? I don't care what you did for him, bro. Man, you could have put that nigga, you could have set up a college fund. You could have took this nigga everywhere. At the end of the day, well, that's that man's seed, cuz. That's his flesh and blood. You know what I'm talking about? That's his flesh and blood, cuz. That man got this little girl or this little boy. Boy, they got this man DNA in them. They got half his chromosomes. You know what I'm talking about? Half of his genetic makeup of his entire bloodline is in this child. Now, guess what? And I told these people this, right? And I'm mentioning this for a reason, because you got the DNA of some people who didn't look at the world and what in their current circumstances like you do. Why? That's why he said, if you be Abraham's seed, why don't you do the works of Abraham? If you of his bloodline, if you come from that stock, you know what I'm talking about? But see, I told these people this because a lot of times people think I mention things and this is my personal opinion. I really don't care. I'm not saying that the woman in this scenario was right. I ain't saying the dude in the scenario was wrong, but I can sit back and I can understand where these people coming from, of why they view things the way that they view it. But I told a lady, I say, who am I to tell a child when they become an adult, if their parents were, for lack of a better term, toxic and very difficult to deal with, that if they wanted to cut their parents off, they were wrong? You know what I'm talking about? Who am I to tell them, man, you should never cut off your mama like that? What if their mama is detrimental to their life? You shouldn't cut your daddy off like that. What if he's detrimental to their life and they don't want to deal with that? I wouldn't tell them you obligated to deal with your parents because they're your parents, but they're bringing a large amount of negativity and just bad behavior in their life. Who am I to say also on the flip side, if your daddy did 10 years in prison, 15 years in prison, and you want to deal with your daddy, or your daddy was never around, or your mama was never around, and now you become an age and you say, well, you know, I know Miss Such and Such raised me and took care of me, but I want to get locked in with Mom Dukes. Who am I to tell them they wrong and say, no, that's your mama because she did this and that she just was an egg donor? And come on, man, that's goofy as hell. What's wrong with you? I can't tell them that, nigga, that's his mama. That's his dad. Okay, that nigga wasn't around for 25 years. He here today. That nigga's supposed to walk around and be resentful and bitter because you wanted to be? That's sad, cuz. He said, I also think there's a subgroup of men because they broke and take a role that they aren't cast to do and go. Absolutely. I believe some of them go above and beyond because they scared that if they don't, that woman might desire the father of the child. But I'm gonna be honest with you. I think a lot of these niggas do this because in their mind, they trying to be to that child what no man was to them because they ain't had no man in the house. And I think that they look at this woman like they mama, and I'm gonna save her because nobody saved my mama. Nobody came and did X, Y, Z for me, and you coming with an improper mindset, and then your feelings get hurt later on down the line. Because nobody really sits no man down and tell him, hey, if you want to deal with a woman with a child, bro, that's your business. You just need to know what you're getting into. And if you understand the totality of what you're getting into, then that's fine. You know how many dudes get broken down mentally and emotionally because they got attached to them kids and that woman left them and they don't have no rights to them kids. Because that's not your child. You know what I'm talking about? That's not your child. So you've been in here 8, 9 years. You know what I'm talking about? This little boy 9, the other boy 12. You locked in with him. And she like, no, I don't want to do this no more. You can't get no custody of them kids. You can't get no visitation to them kids. You don't have no legal rights to them kids. You need to know that before you go into it. Can you deal with that? Because if you can't deal with it, don't do it. You know what I'm saying? You have to deal with, okay, you might have been there for 30 years, and then they see their daddy, and now they rocking with their daddy. Now you upset because you thinking about, what about all the years I did X, Y, Z? What about me? Is he wrong for feeling like that? Some people feel like he is. Some people say, no, he's not. Either way it go, his feelings hurt. You need to know that before you get into that situation. Because if the reality of that pops up and you can't deal with it, then don't do it. You know what I'm saying? We overcomplicate life, man. He said, my mom's new husband was that type of time for many years, but I shut that down without failing. Hey, the hardest thing dudes hear somebody say, you not my daddy. You know what a lot of dudes be coming at? Nigga, come on, you want to come in the house, this little boy 8, 9, 10 years old, and you want a gorilla pimp on him. Man, that man ain't finna submit to no level of discipline. That nigga don't even know you, cuz. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you, man? Man, you can't do that, cuz. All I tell people is, man, just make an informed decision. I ain't telling you not to do nothing. You know what I'm talking about? Just know what you're getting yourself into. Think about it. This ain't just with this is everything in life. What did he tell you about the word, man? Sit down and count the cost whether you got sufficient to pay. Man, if you're going to make a decision in life and you're going to make a move, you need to sit down and weigh out, do you have the requisite things required to be able to do this? Did you think about everything that could happen, positive and negative? You know what most people get thinking about? You only want to think about the good things. You don't want to weigh, well, what if this happens? Can I deal with it? Can I deal with that? Do I want to deal with that if that happens? That's not to say that you are, a Debbie Downer looking for the worst things to happen, but you would have to understand this is a possibility. And if that possibility arises, can I handle that? Meaning, he said they ain't got no root of themselves. So by and by, when persecution or affliction arrives because of the word, they are offended. Because you didn't think about, well, what if this happens? That's how you end up putting your trust in man, looking for them to be your savior. Come on, man. The Lamentations of Jeremiah 4:13. I find that funny. Nigga was mad. God say, man, that man sound like he hurt. He angry. He's confused. Because it said the woman, he started dealing with the child from age 7 for 21 years, and the little girl went to calling him daddy. And now she stopped calling him daddy and calling by his name. And he was supposed to get a car for her. And he said, hell no, tell your daddy to do it. I mean, shoot. For me personally, if you had agreed to already do it, then I would just do it. You know what I'm talking about? Because I already said that I would. But of course, that response is out of, some people saying, is he being petty? Like, yeah, he being petty. No, that nigga hurt. That's not petty. That's anger. That's hurt. That's pain. Most of us don't even know a pain-based response when you hear, tell your daddy to do it. That's your response back to something that you said you were going to do. Your feelings hurt. So you're responding back this way because you're trying to emotionally hurt them. That's why you said that. You know what I'm saying? He said, I believe that's what most men fall short, not knowing the cost. And absolutely. He said, me and my dad slept at his mom's house for 2 nights. Ain't nobody said nothing. You know what I'm saying? That's where it come in at, man. You know, that's what it is, man. I wouldn't have, man, some people different. You know what I'm saying? You can show love to the Jit, man. Jit gonna rock with you. A lot of niggas be coming in and you wanna come in and be seen as the father off the top. And depending on the age of the child, man, you can't do that, cuz. Like if it's a small child, then by the time they grow up, they wouldn't know nothing different if nobody told them, oh, that's not your daddy. But if this nigga's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, man, you can't do that, cuz. What's wrong with you? You can't do that. This is a semi-developed child. That's crazy. Because all you're going to do is be upset. I'm trying to do the best with you. Man, this nigga done had a whole... What if this child know their parents and deal with them? I seen a video where a dude told a lady that she went to see, he said, hold on, man. He said, baby, I'm not trying to replace your children's father. Because some women move that way. They want that man who she dealing with to replace his daddy. And that's a recipe for disaster for that man. You know what I'm talking about? That's a recipe for disaster for him. And I can tell you like this here, if it ends up being that way, ain't nobody gonna care about what that man feeling and what he going through. Because you know what they gonna say, Civic? That's what he was supposed to do. Well, God damn. So a nigga could just do me any kind of way, and that's just what I'm supposed to do. But this is how niggas feel about you, man. Ain't nobody even concerned with your feelings. Because I can understand why that man was mad. I can understand why he upset. You calling me daddy, now I'm Charles? You know what I'm talking about? Nigga, when you fell off your bike and your knee was scratched up and you were crying, I was there to console you. I took your funky behind to your gymnastic practice. I knew you sucked. I encouraged you every day. When that little boy broke your heart and you was crying, who was in there to make you feel better? Now I'm Charles? Now I'm Mr. Benjamin, huh? But you got the nerve to come ask me to buy you a car. You funky face hoe, you. That's what's going through his mind, because you know what clicking in his mind? This ain't my goddamn child. That's what's going through his mind. Now, you'll hear that and you'll think that nigga wrong. But that man human. One of the biggest things that I noticed with a lot of people in this world, more specifically women toward men, is that y'all don't believe that men are human and that things would hurt their feelings. You know what I'm talking about? And have them sad, angry, and upset. Yeah, that nigga feelings hurt. The difference is he ain't gonna walk up to you and say, you hurt my feelings. He's just gonna respond in a very rude and disrespectful fashion because he probably doesn't know how to properly convey the level of pain that he's feeling, because he probably can't even put that into words. And I'm not saying that, I'm talking about that emotional intelligence jump. That's not a situation and circumstance that many people are going to encounter. Imagine this, let's just go to the reverse side of it. Imagine you a woman who has a natural inclination to care and love children because it's in her makeup as a woman. And you get with a man and he got a child. Let's say this child was 2 years old. And you've been there since this child was 2 and this funky nigga 26 years old. And now he believes that he can handle you and disrespect you and tell you he didn't care about her. See, that's what, if that woman say that hurt my feelings, everybody would want to say, hey, that's not right. They would all seek to console her and understand her pain. This man tell you his feelings hurt. Oh, that's what you were supposed to do. I'm killing all you niggas. And when I say that, not that I'm co-signing, I'm killing all you niggas. That's how people get killed in these situations. Because you're not caring about this man, and this man is angry, and he has masculine anger. And masculine anger can lead to people being injured. He take it out on everybody. Because he's like, I'm tired. Don't nobody give a damn about me in this house. Now you got 3 people shot. And people wonder, why did Charles behave that way? Because when he said that something hurt his feelings, everybody told him, we don't give a damn. Get over it, Charles. You know what I'm talking about? And you got women out here had a nerve to say it'd be easy to be a man. You don't want to be no man because ain't nobody gonna give a damn about nothing you feeling. Yeah, ain't nobody gonna give a damn. And when I say don't give a damn about you feeling, they'll tell you to express it, and then when you do, they gonna tell you, nigga, that's what you supposed to do. Suck it up, you a man. Oh, you being sassy. You shot. This is what he thinking in his mind. I'm shooting you. I'm shooting you. You're cool. I'm shooting you. You know what I'm talking about? That's how this stuff happened. Now imagine that you are a young boy and a man, and this your whole life. That you're sacrificing yourself, you're expending yourself, and nobody gives a damn. Now, when I said all of that, now read me Hebrews 10 and 25 and see how you're going to end up in here. You can make it 26. Hebrews 10 and 26. Now, I gave you a natural situation to understand if you move this way, where you're going to have a spiritual destination.
For if we sin willfully, after that we have received the knowledge of the truth, there remain no more sacrifice for sins, but a certain fearful looking for judgment and fiery indignation, which shall devour the adversary.
Listen what he's finna say.
He that despised Moses' law died without mercy under 2 or 3 witnesses.
How much more
Sore punishment suppose you shall he be thought worthy, which have trodden under the foot the son of Elohim, and have counted the blood of his covenant, wherewith he was sanctified,
qadash
thing, and have done despite unto the Ruach of grace.
Listen, that means you just said, oh, you were supposed to die for our sin. That's what you're supposed to do.
For we know him that have said.
That's good. He said that's what you're supposed to do. When that man was suffering, you didn't care. You said, let his blood be on our children's children. When he made himself that free will offering, you didn't care. Nobody cared. Nobody cared. Oh, that's what you, and when I say that, that's how people move when they be out here. Oh, we can sin. You telling him, man, you don't care because that's what you were supposed to do. If they did it to the Lord, nigga, they gonna do it to you. So that's why you have to take on this mind and understand that your salvation, your deliverance, and help don't come from man. Read Psalms 146 and 3 again. Look here, right? Because I was telling dude told me, oh, that was weird. Because I'm like, first off, I wouldn't. If the child come to me and say, call me daddy, I'd be like, no, I'm not your father. You have a father. Now that doesn't mean you're gonna be like, I'm talking about the first time they do it. I ain't talking about they run around, they call you dad. I'm not your father. See, that's weird as hell. Why would you do that? You know why this child is calling you that. Nigga, they live with you. You're performing in that role. That's common goddamn sense. But when you dealing with the fact the first time they said, you have to let them know you have a father. I'm not your father. I'm not trying to replace your daddy. That's not what I'm here to do. Me and your mama here together. You know what I'm saying? We woo. I'm not trying to replace your daddy. You're having this conversation with them to let them, because some children in this situation, you know, because we live in a society where we make bad decisions, and these bad decisions, children have to deal with things that they don't fully understand, and nobody has the fortitude to just sit down and tell them the goddamn truth. You know what I'm talking about? Because that's not how it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be a nigga marrying somebody who got 4 kids already from 2-3 different niggas. You know what I'm talking about? Because now these kids, this is how you see all these doggone skits about, oh, you gonna get something for your child and not mine. It's not supposed to be. That's not even supposed to happen. That's not so. And then you come out of old agreement. You supposed to do for all them kids. How about you just had kids from the same dude and be married to him? We ain't got to deal with it. Then I seen some women talking about, man, we need to have birth control for men. How about y'all just stop looking to have a means to have irresponsible sex? Because that's what you're looking for. That's what birth control gave you, the ability to whoremonger with no consequence. Meaning the purpose of having sex is to have a child. Meaning, when I say the purpose, meaning that's the function. You take the man and the woman and you put them together and there's no contraceptive. There's a likelihood of copulation and therefore conception. You know what I'm talking about? That is the prime mover and function of that deed. See, the reason what we done got to is you thinking about pleasure first. But the function of the deed is to reproduce. You know what I'm talking about? That's the function of the deed. Individuals want prophylactics, birth control, and all these other type of things so that you can have the pleasure without the purpose of the deed. We talking about men should get a vasectomy. What do I get a vasectomy for? Well, if you don't want to have no kid, well, why are you having sex like that? I'm talking about on both ends. Your answer to that question is tell him to get a vasectomy instead of just don't be a hoe. And your answer to the question is, I don't want no kids, so I'm going to just get a vasectomy instead of just not being a hoe. And this the society you worry about who the president is. Come on, man. This is insane. This is insane. This is absolutely insane. You know what I'm talking about? It makes no sense. Come on, bro. I ain't wore this in a while. I forgot how great this was.
Say, put not your trust in princes, nor in the Son of Man, in whom no help.
There ain't no salvation.
His breath go forth, he returned to his earth, and that very day his thoughts perish.
He dies. He dies. He dies. So he can't save you. See, we're not talking about a man being a facilitation of help in the regards of being aid, a help, and a relief and assistance. Remember, when he said help, he talking about salvation, teshuva. You got Yeshua, you got teshuva. You got several different words for deliverance, man. What he talking about? That person can't save you. Lamentations 4:13. Man, that junk was crazy. I'm talking about them niggas were mad with me. You hear me, man? I'm talking about them niggas were mad with me, dude.
Say, for the sins of her prophets, the iniquities of her priests that have shed the blood of the just in the midst of her, they have wandered as blind men in the streets. They have polluted themselves with blood, so that men cannot touch their garments.
Hold on, I don't think that was verse 13. I don't think that's the verse we started with. First one was. It was. I don't know. Hold on. I know we said something about priests and prophets. Yeah, verse 3, Lamentations 4:13.
Say, for the sins of her prophets and the iniquities of her priests that have shed the blood of the just in the midst of her.
You know how they say in the blood? Look here, man, you killing the righteous, cuz. Remember what he said? He said, you are the children of those who slayed the prophets. He said, Elohim, he said, the wisdom of God has sent you apostles and prophets, and you slayed them. See, I had another passage in my mind earlier, man. We didn't pass that point when it was talking about when the proper time to get resources when you're preaching. I just want to slide this in here, right? It's in 2 Kings chapter 4, if I'm not mistaken. But if you remember, with a Gehazi and Elisha, when he healed Naaman the Syrian, the leper, and the Syrian wanted to pay him, and he said, no. And Gehazi went back and got it. He said, man, it's a time to do that. And this wasn't the time. Because remember, this is where that comes from when he say, freely have you received, freely you give it. You have to know what that's talking about. Man, to heal somebody from leprosy, man, you've been given gifts of the spirit to heal somebody or raise them from the dead. You don't take compensation for that. That's not what he told you. You don't take compensation for that. That's insane. If there was a man who was a paraplegic and I had the ability to heal him, you know what I'm talking about? This is the gift of the spirit that's given. I don't take nothing from this man. That's stupid. Come on, bro.
They have wandered as blind men in the streets.
They've what?
Polluted themselves with blood so that men could not touch their garments.
See, he polluted you with blood because you killing and you sinning. Come on.
They cried unto them, depart you, unclean, depart, touch not. When they fled away and wandered, they said among the heathen, they shall no more sojourn.
The anger
of Yahuwah have divided them.
That he will what?
No more regard them.
They respected not.
The persons of the priests.
They did not favor.
Not the elders.
As for us,
our eyes are as yet failed for our vain help.
And watching,
we have watched for a nation
that could not what?
Save us.
These people can't save you, cuz. These people can't save you. He said that's why Peter said, absolutely. That's Acts 5. Yeah, when dude came up here and tried to buy the spirit, he said, man, you wildin', cuz. What you got going on? The gifts of God are not to be purchased with money. Let me swing to that Acts 5, man. I'm going to finish Deuteronomy 14, man. Let me swing to this Acts 5, man. Get Matthew 10 real quick. We got to finish Matthew 20. Matter of fact, where you at in Matthew 20? Give me Matthew 20 and 25. Let it go. It's Acts 8. It's not Acts 5. Acts 8. Come on, Matthew 20 and 25. Let it run.
But Yahushua called unto him and said, you know that the princes of the Gentiles exercise dominion over them.
Exercise what?
Dominion over them.
Remember what your law say, you will not rule over one another with rigor. Come on.
And they that are great exercise authority upon them. But it shall not be so among you.
It won't be like that.
But whosoever will be great among you, let him be your minister.
Serve.
Whosoever will be chief among you, let him be your servant.
Serve.
Even as the Son of Man came not to be ministered unto, but
to
minister,
serve.
And to give his life a ransom for many.
Listen, in another spot, he say, they call it benefactor. Let me give y'all that Greek word for benefactor. Come on, I think that's in Luke. Yeah, Luke 22. Give me 20. Tell me what 21 say.
But behold, the hand of him that betrayed me is with me on the table. And truly the Son of Man go as it was determined. But woe unto that man by whom he is betrayed. They began to inquire among themselves which of them it was that should do this thing. There was also a strife among them, which of them should be accounted the greatest. He said unto them, the kings of the Gentiles exercise lordship over them, and they that exercise authority upon them are called benefactors. Tell
them what benefactor means in the Greek. He said them that exercise what now?
Authority over them.
Are called what?
Benefactors.
What's a benefactor in the Greek? I know y'all know what a benefactor is.
Regurgitate, that's a benefactor, a title of honor. Conferred on such as had done their country service and upon princes.
A great title. You know, a lot of people be like, they say, don't call me pastor and all. And that thing say flattering titles. Remember, we told you before, pastor, apostle, bishop, all the thing. That's a job, cuz. That's just a job title. You niggas done made it more from that because you want people to worship you. You know what I'm saying? That's a job title, cuz. At the end of the day, come on with it, cuz.
But you not so, but he that is greatest among you, let him be as the younger, he that is chief as he that do serve. For whether is greater, he that sit at meat or he that serve? Not he that sit at meat, but I am among you as he that serve.
That's what your law say. The elders shall do what?
Serve the younger.
So the greater one gonna serve my God today. And is not that what happened that Yahushua is the elder, he's serving you the younger? My God today. That's how it's set up. Guess what? The high priest is greater than everybody, and guess what he doing? That's his job. His job is to serve the people and the things that pertain to Elohim. That's his job. See, you have to turn to look at the. I'm not talking about anybody who's just doing it. I'm talking about those that you can ascertain. And you've tried, like we read in 1 John chapter 4, because a lot of you niggas' problem is you don't test nobody's spirit to make sure they from God first. You just sit down and be like, yeah, it's cool. That's your fault. That's your job. That's what he told you to do. That's what you're supposed to do. I done told y'all this plenty of time, man. When I used to be in the street, this lady, she see me out there preaching, man, she come to me and I say, baby, I know what you're doing. She said, I got to try. I said, you're not doing that. If a nigga preach the word and he get upset that you tried his spirit, then you know he don't work for God. Because anybody who worked for God would not be offended by that. He wouldn't be offended. All it means is the test, to prove. I need to know you come. I'm just supposed to accept you got a word of God and you come from God because you said you do. Don't this man say, as the tongue tasteth meat, the ear try word? That's what you're supposed to do. What he told you in Acts. These men were more noble than those in Thessalonica because they searched the scriptures daily to see if those things were so. You have to test them by the word, my G. You know what I'm saying? When he say test, it's just to prove. You need to make sure this person comes from God. I tell you all the time, what you're supposed to do, what? Listen for the voice of the shepherd. But you have to be versed enough in your faith to be able to know how to prove somebody. See, y'all don't care about proving nobody as long as they singing the song you like to hear. See, some of y'all like Luther Vandross. You know what I'm talking about? Some of y'all like I'll Be Sure. You know what I'm talking about? Some of y'all like Tevin Campbell. And you don't like, and I say that because you might like Tevin Campbell, don't like Luther Vandross, so you don't want to listen to his music. You want to hear the person who's singing the note that you like. That ain't how you supposed to minister the word, man. You supposed to listen to make sure that word come from God, come from Yahuwah, come from the Almighty by passages of Yahushua HaMashiach. If you're not listening to that, you always gonna get caught up in deceit. You always, you know why? Because you listening to the word through your carnality and not through the Ruach. That's why I mentioned that earlier. You can't call yourself a man and you hear things according to your feelings. You can't call yourself a man and you doing that. You can't call yourself a son of Elohim and you hear things through your flesh. You got to hear it through the Ruach, man. Because if you don't hear it through the Ruach, then you're going to listen to the devil and you're going to find yourself in a place you don't want to be. You know what I'm talking about? It's not a big deal. You catch a nigga, he don't want you to test him. Nigga say, yeah, I got the word from God too. You supposed to try that nigga. You know what I'm talking about? You supposed to test him. You gonna have to prove that to me, cuz. You know what I'm talking about? You gonna have to prove that to me. Look here, boo, you were there. Nigga came at me like that about 9 years ago. Nigga, I ain't back down, nigga. It's on camera. It's on tape, it's on the channel. Nigga, holler at me, then you can ask me whatever you want. Nigga, I'm not running from that. I'm not scared of that. I know who popping me off with this word, cuz. That don't even bother me. I ain't even offended by that. I welcome it. By all means. You catch a nigga like this here, or you got that, man, that nigga lying. Once you see a nigga, you test his spirit, man, that nigga get uncomfortable. He start getting offensive. You know what I'm talking about? A little agitated. Man, that nigga lying, cuz, man, God ain't gave that nigga no word, man. That's right, Omar. Man, God ain't gave that nigga no word. That's what you supposed to do. This your soul we talking about, man. You don't love yourself enough to make sure that. So you mean to tell me that you would test and prove anybody else that you come buy a product from, but you won't test who you buy the word from? Read in Proverbs 23 and 23. You mean to tell me you're not going to test that out? Are you serious? Who told you that you just, when you want to test it out, you'll test it out with Christians, but you ain't going to test it out with no bruise. That's crazy, my nigga. That's crazy. Come on, man. Proverbs 20, y'all know what it says.
Say, buy the truth and sell not.
Do what with the what?
Buy the truth and sell not.
And what else?
Wisdom and instruction and understanding.
Now tell them what buy mean. What does this mean, right? Does this go to the store and spend some money?
To get, to acquire.
To get and acquire and possess. When you got to go out, acquire and possess your home, did you prove it out to make sure it was the time? I ain't talking about renting. I'm talking about when you bought it. Did you send a home inspector in to inspect the house, to test it and prove that it was acceptable? Or you just believed them when they told you that's a new roof? That this is a brand new tankless water heater? Or did you get that home inspector for them to walk that house to prove out that what they said is true? When you went to a jeweler and bought some diamonds, did you make sure them diamonds was appraised to make sure he was telling you the truth? When you went and bought your car, did you take a mechanic to look at that car to make sure that the claims that them people was making were true? Or did you just drive off the lot like a jackass? He told me the motor was new. Nah, you went and did your investigative work, didn't you? You know what I'm talking about? And that's how a lot of people end up with the wrong man and the wrong woman, because you didn't prove him out first. She got nice titties. He tall. I like how her booty look. This woman is evil. You know what I'm talking about? This nigga sorry. You didn't prove him out. But it's your soul, cuz you supposed to test that. If you buying it, you better make sure that what you buying is the amount, or you're going to find yourself somewhere you don't want to be. Now tell them what sell it not mean. Because obviously you can't sell the word. I mean, you can sell the word. Niggas do it every day, but you know what I mean.
That's my car to sell.
So what you think that mean to sell, to get rid of? But now let's leave and look at it sell if we want to do that. Come over here to Acts chapter 8. I got to say Acts chapter 8, verse 14. I'll make it 13. I'll make it 9. But there was a certain man called Simon, which before time in the city used sorcery and bewitched the people of Samaria, giving out that himself was some great one, to whom they all gave heed from the least to the greatest, saying, this man is the great power of Elohim. Same thing these goofy niggas doing now, ain't it? And to him they had regard, because of a long time he had bewitched them with sorcery. Tell them what it means to bewitch. You ever used to see the TV show Bewitched? You know what I'm talking about? You don't know what I'm talking about. I forgot. You used to look at nigga night. You live with old niggas.
Exist to me. That's to throw out of position, to displace, to amaze, to astonish, to throw into wonderment.
So bewitching here ain't talking about just necessarily using sorcery. Read that definition again. That's what a lot of these people doing to you out here.
To throw out of position.
To throw out of position. To listen, Paul, to get you off your spot. This person is using words, gimmicks, all this other type of stuff to trick you out your position. See, this is what my homeboys did. What we used to say. They said, boy, don't let nobody trick you off these streets, man. You letting people trick you out of position. He said to amaze.
Or to be out of one's mind, to be beside one's.
To be out of one's mind, you ain't thinking straight.
To be insane.
To be insane. You done went stupid. What does it mean to be insane? You insane in the men brain? You don't know about that song. I'm sorry. You know about that song? These niggas don't. Oh no, man, that's Cypress Hill.
Oh yeah, I have heard it.
Oh, I did that song. I know that song. I know them. They smoked all the weed. You say Bewitched was on. Oh, was that be? No, I think that show was called Charmed.
Oh yeah, Charmed with the sisters. Bewitched was with the white.
Yeah, the Bewitched was with the white lady married to the astronaut.
Yeah.
Because Amuna said, I love that show. She old enough to remember it though. Insane means the state of mind which prevents normal perception, behavior, or social interaction. To have a seriously disordered state of mind. This is literally to have a mind of Satan. You can't think straight. A lot of y'all niggas insane. You've been bewitched. But you looking for somebody to say abracadabra and pull some type of sorcery and put period blood in your stew and take your hair and do all these old voodoo tricks. All they did was bewitch you with their words. Nigga, you lost your mind. They tricked you out your spot. You going to hell now. All because you ain't want to try nobody.
use sorceries to be a magician, to practice magical arts.
So, see, now he not only was he did some magical arts, but he was also bewitching you, because notice that he said that they separated them. He said he bewitched them with them sorceries. And if you know anything about actual witchcraft from witches, they'll tell you that the main tenet of witchcraft is persuasion. They're trying to persuade you to a particular type of, it ain't just some old long green-nosed white woman standing over a pot boiling, riding on a broom. See, they threw that at you so you wouldn't understand what it was. Verse 12, but when they believed Philip preaching the things concerning the Malkuth for Elohim in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach, they were immersed, both men and women. Then Simon himself believed also, and when he was immersed, he continued with Philip in wonder, beholding the miracles and signs which were done. Now, when the apostles, is lying equal to witchcraft? Nah, you just a lying bastard. You know what I'm talking about? But I could understand why you would hold that position. Lying is just, nigga, you be lying. You know what I'm talking about? What that nigga say, why you always lying? Always lying. Why you always lying? Lying is he said, I'm thinking about Sabrina, the teenage witch. You say witchcraft is as rebellion. You talking about in Samuel. You know what I'm saying? And we have to make sure we use that in proper context, because that's dealing with Saul and what Saul did. You know what I'm talking about? Because Saul thought, you know what, I'm gonna make these sacrifices, and he said, man, it was better for you to obey me to bring me some sacrifices I ain't even asked you for. Dang, man, Boop in here weighing up crack. My God, today. You say, dude was an exec. Okay, bet. Yeah, show you right. I Dream and Genie was the astronaut, and guess what? And usually in the Arabic tongue, jinn is another word for demon, because that's the word for genie come from jinn. That's a damn demon. Yeah, I get it, but that's not necessarily witchcraft. You just a liar. You know what I'm saying? See, people lie out of fear, or they lie out of to get an advantage. You know what I'm talking about? So I don't always like to loop everything and say this person is a witch. Nigga, just a liar. You know what I'm talking about? Some niggas just liar. Some people couldn't tell the truth if you paid them. You know what I'm saying? Some people lie for no reason. You already know the type of lies I hate. That's the nigga who volunteered you a lie. I ain't even asked you for this lie. You know what I'm talking about? Them the worst kind of lie. I ain't even asked you for this lie, cuz. You know what I'm saying? My homeboy that walked up last night, he got mad when we were young. That nigga just walked up and was like, Junior, say how I played for the Kansas City Chiefs. We were like, bro, why you did that? You know what I'm saying? He used to be on some other stuff like this. Yeah, I mean, I grew up with him. I'm talking about sometimes that nigga just, now he wasn't that type of liar, but sometimes he would just throw one out there. You know what I'm talking about? Just on the, yeah, we do sometimes. And I can understand that, because if you look at it, the base aspect of it, because when you say look at witchcraft being persuasion, they're not necessarily lying. They're just trying to persuade you to a particular type of behavior. It might not be any deceit with it, because it says Satan is the father of lies, and I don't think anybody would describe Satan as a witch. You know what I'm saying? In fact, the whole story, I don't think many people would describe him like that. Lying is different. Lying is just you just a lying bastard. You know what I'm talking about? Nigga just lying. Why you lying, nigga? But I asked you for that damn lie. Why you told me that? You know what I'm talking about? But that's what some people be on. That just is what it is. Some stuff I don't hold against people, man. Some people just, man, they just be lying. And I'm talking about lying all the time. I'm not talking about lying as for the purpose of trying to harm somebody or get over. Some people just be lying. You know what I'm saying? Just lie about everything. Nigga lie so much he don't even know he lying. You know what I'm saying? What I mean by that is the worst nigga to be around is a nigga believe his own lies. Because that nigga lies so, like I say, he lies so much he don't even know he lying. So when you be like, nigga, you lying? No, I'm not. Because he really believed he told the truth. That's how much he be lying.
Why you always lying?
You know what I'm saying? Some people like that. You hear people do that when they debate the word. This nigga's lying. And when I say lying, I'm not talking about he's giving bad doctrine. I'm talking about he's going to literally lie and make a statement or convolute a particular passage for the sole purpose of defending and protecting his doctrine. So he will see. There's one thing about somebody being wrong don't mean that they're lying. When you're lying, you're willfully intending to deceive. You have to know what lying is. Someone could just be wrong. You could say something and be wrong, and it don't mean you were lying because you believed it was true. You know what I'm talking about? But to willfully deceive, nigga, you know what you're doing. That's why he say nobody will get into his kingdom who love and maketh a lie, because you have to intentionally deceive. Go ahead. Where we at with it? Verse 14. Now, when the apostles which were at Jerusalem heard that Samaria had received the word of Elohim, they sent unto them Peter and John, whom when they would come down, prayed for them that they might receive the Ruach HaKodesh. For as yet he was fallen upon none of them, only they that were immersed in the name of the Lord Yahushua. So remember, none of these people were baptized in the Lord. I remember a while back, people asked, could you receive the Spirit without being baptized? You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, when we had that conversation, nigga came and like, can you get it like that? Nigga said you can't. Nigga opened up that book and showed them. What are you talking about? Baptism is not necessarily a prerequisite for receiving it. You still need to get baptized, because you should know that in Acts 10. Them people got it and weren't baptized, and then they got baptized after the fact. These people who you're reading about in Acts 8 in Samaria, none of these people were baptized. But when they heard the word, they believed. They brought the apostle down. Hey, man, let them get this free will offering. You know what I'm saying? To intercede on their behalf. He said they laid hands on them and they received, this is verse 17, received the Ruach HaKodesh. And when Simon saw that through the laying on the apostles' hands, the Ruach HaKodesh was given, he offered them money, saying, give me also this power that whomsoever I lay hands, he may receive the Ruach HaKodesh. But Peter said unto them, your money perish with you, because you thought the gift of Elohim may be purchased with money. You have neither part nor lot in this matter, for your heart is not right in the sight of Elohim. Repent therefore of this your wickedness, and pray Elohim, if perhaps the thought of your heart may be forgiven you. For I perceive that you are in the gall of bitterness and the bond of iniquity. Then answered Simon and said, pray you to the Lord for me, that none of these things which you have spoken come upon me. Man, you can't pay for that. You ain't enough money in the world. Listen, this is why a lot of people in quote unquote Christian church tithe like that and give money like that, because they sincerely believe that they can purchase their salvation. You know what I'm talking about? He did. And it just goes to show where Simon's mind was at, because Simon didn't even think he said nothing wrong. He like, yeah, man, I'll pay you for that. That just showed that Simon didn't really know Yahuwah like that he thought he could pay for that. You can't pay for the gifts of God. He don't give them to sinners, and there's no amount of money you can give to get it. That's not how he operates. Get him, where you at? What you hold up? I done got to hold myself. I ain't even.
I read Proverbs 23 and 23.
Give me Matthew 10, man, verse 13. And I'm going to be over here in 2 Kings chapter 5. I think I told y'all chapter 4, but it's chapter 5. Come on.
Saying, if the house be worthy, let your shalom come upon it. But
back
if
it
it
up,
be,
back it up to 10.
Nor script for journey, neither two coats, neither shoes, nor yet staves, for the workman is worthy of his meat.
Well, back me up to 7. I just want to make sure I don't leave nothing out.
And as you go, preach, saying, the Malkuth Shamayim is at hand.
Mm-hmm.
Heal the sick, cleanse the lepers.
Heal the who?
Heal the sick.
Cleanse the who?
The lepers.
What else?
Raise the dead.
Raise the who?
Raise the dead.
And what else?
Cast out devils. Freely you have received, freely give.
See, people use that and say, see this. Notice that what he said, freely you received, freely give. Remember, he said, don't rejoice because you have power over the spirits. You know what I'm talking about? Let me show you that. Let me find that. This is escaping my brain. Where is that? I think it's in Luke. Come over here to the book of Luke. I think it's the book of Luke. I won't. Luke 10, verse 17. Listen to what he say.
And the 70 returned again with joy, saying, Lord, even the devils are subject unto us through your name. And he said unto them, I beheld Hashatan as lightning fall from Shamayim. Behold, I give unto you power to tread on serpents and scorpions, and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means hurt you. Notwithstanding, in this rejoice not, that the spirits are subject unto you, but rather rejoice because your names are written in Shamayim.
Look at what he told. He said, don't be joyful because these spirits listening to you. Boy, you a son of God, boy. So when you go that, because a lot of people say, see, freely given, he ain't supposed to get nothing. No, he ain't supposed to get nothing for cleansing lepers, raising the dead. Do you understand what he doing? That's not doing the work of a minister of the priest, cuz. That's not doing ministry work right there, man. That's not teaching no word right there, man. That's something bigger than that. No, he ain't supposed to get paid for that. Come over here to 2 Kings chapter 5 so you can see the doggone standard of where that come from. 2 Kings 5:9. I got you. He says, so Naaman came with his horses and with his chariot and stood at the door of Elisha. Elisha sent a messenger unto him saying, go and wash in Jordan 7 times and your flesh shall come again to you and you shall be clean. Now I'm just establishing what he there for. Now let me get to where I want to be. Verse 14. Then he went down and dipped himself 7 times in Jordan according to the saying of man of Elohim, and his flesh came again like unto the flesh of a little child, and he was clean. Now I didn't read this part, but remember, I done always told you, people expect the work of Yahuwah to be a fantastical event. Because Naaman the Syrian was like, man, you mean to tell me all I got to do is go wash in the water? Because he literally said in verse 12, are not Abana and Parfar, rivers of Damascus, better than all the waters of Yasharal? May I not wash in them and be clean? So he turned away and went in rage. And his servants came near and spake unto him and said, my father, if the prophet had bid you to do some great thing, would you have not done it? How much rather than we say when he say to you, wash and be clean? See, you want some old great and you want some old great thing to be done. See what I'm saying? See, they would tell me something. We didn't talk about this before, right? A lot of people, I remember somebody asked me this years ago, why we don't see miracles in the earth? Because miracles are for unbelievers. And clearly he's established the fact that you niggas don't believe. Because these miracles ain't going to make you do it. That's who miracles are for. See, you thought the miracles was to be beneficial to people. The miracles is for you to believe. And we've talked about this before, man. He showed signs and wonders with Moses and Aaron in Exodus chapter 4 to Yasharal because they didn't know Yahuwah. They never heard no word, man. Remember I told y'all niggas got y'all thinking your forefathers was dropping word while they was in Egypt. Anybody tell you that, you need to find a Bible and slap them upside the head with it because they stupid. They ain't had no word in there, man. That's right. When people don't like the simplicity, all he told them was to go bathe. Go bathe? That man went and bathed. He said, my God, today. He said, it's something different in here. I wasn't expecting that. Verse 15, right? 2 Kings 5. And he returned to the man of Elohim, he and all his company, and came and stood before him. And he said, behold, I know that no Elohim in all the earth, but in Yasharal. Now, therefore, I pray you, take a blessing of your servant. He said, Yahuwah lit. This man swore to God. See, I had a conversation with a dude about this the other day, Wednesday to be specific, or Tuesday, one of the two, probably. He got angry because what it was we were talking about, I told you the Latoya Luckett thing, that she been married 3 times in 7 years. That's crazy. That's nasty work. To be married 3 times, that means your marriage is somebody said, oh, his husband, it was like it vows and prom. I said, bro, ain't no vows or no marriage in this book, bro. You talking about what you mean, bro? Where you gonna find that at? I don't know why so many people in the word who get upset when somebody tell them, bro, you ain't got to get no marriage vows, nigga. He talking about you supposed to. I say, man, Yahushua ain't tell you about what Solomon told. I say, most of y'all not even swearing. See, because this is what a dude would tell him. He say, so when you get married, isn't it between you, your wife, and Yahuwah? I'm like, no. Y'all do know when you get married that Yahuwah is not a part of your covenant. You're not in covenant with Yahuwah when you marry your spouse. You in covenant with your spouse. You know what I'm talking about? That's what people tell you. You know, you get married, it's not you, your wife, and God. It's you, your wife, and the government. That's nigga talk. He understood when I explained to him like this here. When you in the covenant of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, That's when you in covenant with Yahuwah. And even if you're not married, you still have an order of operation that you have to abide by. But when you get married, you have an order of operation you have to abide by based on the fact that you're in covenant with Yahuwah. But when you get married, you didn't marry Yahuwah. You married your wife. You married your husband. So when you break the covenant that you have with your spouse, you didn't break a covenant with Yahuwah. When that covenant, you broke that with them. Now, see, you break your covenant with Yahuwah when you do the things that he tell you not to do. So when you be deceitful and treacherous with your wife, you broke your covenant with Yahuwah and your wife. Because, see, these are two separate covenants that you've entered into. See, when you beat your wife, you know what I'm talking about? Because some of these niggas get the word and then justify beating on their wife. You know what I'm talking about? When you don't love your wife as you love your own flesh, now you have broken the covenant you have with Yahuwah. But see, you didn't break your covenant with your wife. You broke that with Yahuwah because you didn't covenant with your wife to love her as your own flesh. You agreed to that when you said, Yahuwah is my Elohim. That's when you agreed to that. See, niggas, you mix mashing stuff. You niggas been over here too long trying to take this man word and mix this stuff with these people customs, man. Then niggas get mad at me because I'm like, nah, bro, you don't have to do that. You can do what you want to do. But I'm talking about cuz was mad with me. You don't understand the seriousness of marriage. I say, nigga, everything with Yahuwah is serious. What is you talking about? Everything's serious. See, people only don't take marriage serious in the word for one reason, because you always looking for the next person to go be with. That's why you don't take it serious. You know what I'm talking about? And you don't understand what you're doing before you do it. You know what I'm talking about? Because you know why? Because you want to be loved. You know what I'm talking about? You want your romance. You want your coochie. You want your penis. You want your dinners. You want all this other stuff. And you're not wearing this stuff that this man requires of you. You know what I'm talking about? And it doesn't matter what the other person is doing. And I didn't mention those things as if those things are wrong. You know what I'm talking about? Because none of the things that I mentioned are wrong per se. But you concerned with the things that don't matter as it pertains to the vocation that you entering into. You got to know what you're getting yourself into. Because Yahuwah going to require it of you. He going to require it of you. Remember a long time ago? You know that whole read tarot card now. You know the maggot whole time. You know what I'm saying? But I remember they got mad. Shalom, brother Marcus. When I was like, if you wouldn't talk to the Lord like that, why you talk to your husband like that? Because he said you're supposed to obey your husband as unto the Lord. So you mean to tell me if you disrespect your husband, you'll disrespect the Lord? Funky hoe, I don't care what you say out your mouth. Because this is what the man commanded of you. And if you can be verbally eviscerating, verbally disrespectful, straight up defiant and disobedient, that's how you see Yahushua, because he told you to treat your husband as if your husband was him. That's what he told you. I didn't tell you that. I don't care what you do with that nigga. He the one got to live with you. I don't. So I don't care what you do with him. But the Lord do, and he told you what to do. You know what I'm talking about? Guess what? I don't care, baby. I don't care what you got to do with that nigga. I'm not you, and I ain't got to live with him. But he told you to love your wife as you love your own flesh. He said, who you ever hated his own self? You know what I'm talking about? He said, dwell with your wife according to knowledge. That's what he told you to do. So I don't care what she don't do. You better do what he told you to do, because he gonna require that of you. It don't matter. That's the first thing nigga want to scream. Well, if I'm being mistreated, he didn't tell you could divorce your husband and marry somebody else because you being mistreated. That man never told you that. But what people looking at is, if this don't work out, I still want to be able to go do this. Even though he said, if you do this, you're an adulterer. That ain't what Paul said. That's what the Lord said. You know the first thing niggas scream. But Moses said, I don't give a damn what Moses said. If God talking to me, who got more authority? Moses is submitting to him. Moses was there in the transfiguration to talk to him about the work he was finna do. Who you think Moses submitting to? And you telling me about what Moses said? Well, you finna mosey your way somewhere you don't want to be. All because you didn't want to operate in the way that he said to operate. Because why? Because you listening, you moving, and you thinking with your flesh. Can't do it. You can't do that. Not and live forever anyway. You can do whatever you want to. You know what I'm saying? But I'm telling you, them niggas was offended with me about them vows. I'm like, why does that bother you niggas? Why y'all want to swear to somebody so bad? There's nowhere in the book where he say for richer and poor, for sickness. And that man, he never told you that. If you don't love a nigga when they sick or when they healthy, that speaks to you. Why do I need to promise to you that I'm going to do that? I should marry you if I don't want to do that. Oh, for richer or poor, I ain't go. Remember the married with a lady said, we talk, ain't no poor. Then they don't marry this hoe. Because if you fall off and she can't fool with you, then she don't fool with you. Don't fool with me when I'm up and then walk away when I'm down. You don't deserve to be around. You don't deserve. I don't need to promise that. That means that's indicative of your character. You shouldn't have to promise things that represent good character. That's insane, man. Talking about till death do us part. I don't need to say till death do us part. He said that when he said a woman is bound to her husband as long as he lives. I ain't got to say that. I don't have to promise that to you. God has already mandated that. He's already mandated that. I don't have to say it. I don't have to promise before God to do that. Because if you promise and you don't pay, He's going to pay with your black behind. And I've been told you that. You know how many people going to hell because they broke their vows, man? And the nigga looking at me crazy when I say, yeah, man, we ain't say no vows. Say some vows for what? We've already entered in covenant with Yahuwah. We ain't got to do that. That's unnecessary. That man say, let your yea be yea and your nay be nay. I don't need to do all of that. Do all of that for what? Oh, that make it real, huh? I remember some chicks on Clubhouse that, man, if I can't even get no vows, see, it's about you then. How many niggas said vows and lying? I ain't talking about lying when he did something, lying while he was saying it. He knew he had no intentions of fulfilling none of these things that he said. That woman was standing there knowing she had no intentions on fulfilling none of these things that she said. And that's just the sickness of your flesh because you want to convince yourself that what you hearing is true. I don't give a damn what you say out your mouth. Make your feet move and prove it to me. Care nothing about all that. You're supposed to make that decision before you get married, man. If she gets sick, man, you're going to look out for her. If you're not, you would not. Then what you with her for? Like I've been telling y'all, man, I come from a different time, man. I watched Miss Marie take care of a doggone Uncle Willie boy till he died. She ain't put her brother in no home. I seen this woman come straight from working in a doggone medical facility, come straight home, take care of her brother. I watched her do it for years, nigga. You know what I'm talking about? I watched my homeboy grandma take care of her mama who had Alzheimer's. You know how hard that is, man? Man, she ain't put her mama in no home, cuz. So when I see that, I'm already knowing, man, you get married, man, you got to be all in. That's your people, my nigga. Oh, you get sick, I'm gone. I hope God kill you. And I mean that sincerely. Man, if you walk away at somebody at their lowest, man, and you covenanted with them, man, because you ain't want to deal with it, man. When I say kill you, I ain't even talking about killing you dead in the grave, man. I hope he kill everything you desire. I hope he kill every dream, every relationship, every work. I hope everything you seek to do dies. Because you a maggot bastard. You know what I'm talking about?
You still want to be on the life insurance policy.
But want to be on the life insurance policy. That junk ain't cool, man. And I ain't talking about that in no aspect of no man towards. I'm talking about period, man. That's your people, cuz. That's your people, cuz. That's your people, cuz. What's wrong with you, man? That's your people, man. That's your mama. That's your daddy. That's your grandma. That's your granddaddy. That's your auntie. That's your husband. That's your wife. But that's your people, cuz. How you got that type of indifference for your people, cuz? Because you a selfish bastard. That's why. You know what I'm saying? You're looking at how this is inconveniencing me. But look, the Lord was inconvenienced, but you want what he has to offer. Dirty bastard. You already know, Civic. My God, today. Lord have mercy. Verse 16, 2 Kings 5. He said, but he said, you who will live before whom I stand, I will receive none. He urged him to take, and he refused. Naaman said, shall there not then, I pray you, be given to your servant 2 mules burden of earth? For your servant will henceforth offer neither burnt offering nor sacrifice unto other gods, but unto Yahuwah. And this thing Yahuwah pardon your servant. When your master go into the house of Rimmon to worship there, and he lean on my hand and I bow myself in the house of Rimmon. When I bow down myself in the house of Rimmon, Yahuwah pardon your servant in this thing. He said unto him, go in peace. So he departed from him a little way. You see where Paul get that from? When he say that thing about idols, and if you be compelled to go, that man say, man, I only sacrifice to Yahuwah. He say, forgive me when I gotta go in here with these funky bastards, man, when I've been compelled to go. You wonder where that man get that from. But these niggas be making stuff up. You literally seen a man ask Yahuwah to forgive him if he go in a particular spot and do this here. And he say, man, he'll do it. Let me read it to you again. I think they think I'm making that up. But this is what he said, man. Verse 17. Naaman said, shall there not then, I pray you, be given to your servant 2 mules burden of earth from your servant, will henceforth offer neither burnt offering nor sacrifice unto other gods, but unto Yahuwah. And this thing Yahuwah pardon your servant. When my master go into the house of Rimmon to worship there. Notice he said, when his master, the person who sent him out here, and he leaned on my hand and I bow myself in the house of Rimmon. When I bow down myself in the house of Rimmon, Yahuwah pardon your servant in this thing. Y'all know what I'm talking about in Corinthians, what Paul said, if you be bidden to a feast and you be compelled to go. He said, forgive me for that. And guess what he said? And he said unto him, go in peace. That means Yahuwah granted that request. Because this man ain't had no other choice. He's not an Israelite. He's not living in Israel. He's living in Syria. He works for an idolater. He's going to have to go in here. But in his mind, I'm serving Yahuwah. Because Yahuwah just proved to me. You see how signs and miracles and all these things are for what? Unbelievers. Naaman was not a believer in Yahuwah before he came here. He was when he left, though. Verse 20, but Gehazi, the servant of Elisha, the man of Elohim, said, behold, my master has spared Naaman this Syrian, and not receiving at his hand that which he brought. But as Yahuwah live, I will run after him and take somewhat of him. So Gehazi followed after Naaman. And when Naaman saw running after him, he lighted down from the chariot to meet him and said, all well? He said, all is well. My master has sent me, saying, behold, even now there be come to me from Mount Ephraim 2 young men of the sons of the prophets. Give them, I pray you, a talent of silver and 2 changes of garments. Naaman said, be content, take 2 talents. He said, oh, you want 1? I'll double that. Because Naaman looking at it like, hey, well, Yahuwah done did this work and he used you to do it. He wanted to look out for this man. Do you know what I'm talking about? But remember, freely you've given, freely you receive. You notice in that Matthew, he said, cleanse the who? Okay, listen, follow what's going on now. And he said 2 talents of silver and 2 bags and 2 changes of garments, and laid upon the 2 servants, and they bare before him. And when he came to the tower, he took them from their hand and bestowed them in the house, and he let the men go, and they departed. But when he went in and stood before his master, Elisha said unto him, where come you, Gehazi? And he said, your servant went nowhere. Lying. And he said unto him, went not my heart with you? When the man turned again from his chariot to meet you, listen what he said. It's a time to receive money, and to receive garments, and olive yards, and vineyards, and sheep, oxen, men servants, and maid servants. The leprosy, therefore, of Naaman shall cleave unto you and to your seed forever. And he went out from his presence as a leper, white as snow. You see like this here? Because he's representative of what Simon did. Well, your heart not right in this matter. He said, it's a time to get that, but not with stuff. You don't get paid for doing signs, wonders, and miracles of Yahuwah. You don't take nothing from that. You don't take nothing for that. That's why he said, freely give and freely you receive. You know what I'm saying? You have to sit back. You have to go through the text. You got to know why this man's saying what he's saying, where it come from. Then you get an understanding. Then you can know that, okay, in the socialistic theocracy of the Malkuth of Shamayim, you don't pay him for doing miracles. But you pay him for his service. You know what I'm talking about? Because he works for you. You have to always remember, no matter what, and listen, this is why I tell you, this is an interconnected body. This is an interconnected people. This person just happens to work at one part of the corporation in a particular area. But at the end of the day, all the servants of Yahuwah work for you. They work for you. So if they're working for you, that means that you would what? You would look out for them. This is why, now see, it's different when you're traveling from city to city. See, that's when he told them, hey, man, whoever lets you stay at their house, stay there. Don't go from house to house. They're going to look out for you. You have to look at it in that aspect. These men traveling. They traveling. You don't need to be going, oh, I'm going to stay at Brother James' house tonight, then I'm going to go to Brother Tony's house tomorrow. See, now you just, come on, bro. Just stay where you at. You know what I'm talking about? Because what they have is, it's more, this is the aspect of it, what Yahuwah wants us to understand. What Yahuwah has given to his servants is more valuable than what you're giving to them. Now, let's not get it twisted. What you're giving to them is valuable to you. You know what I'm talking about? That's what the servant of Yahuwah has to understand. You can't have this mindset, I do this and I'm entitled to it. Regardless if the word say you're supposed to get it or not. You're not supposed to have the mentality, I'm entitled to that. And now I'm not going to do X, Y, Z unless these people do that. Whether they do or whether you don't or they don't, you're supposed to do what Yahuwah told you to do. You know what I'm saying? You have to understand that part. I done seen nigga, nobody supports the ministry. Man, shut your pussy behind up, nigga, and go do the work the man told you to do. And stop crying about who ain't doing what. Nobody don't want to hear that. How many of y'all done seen Bruce crying and complaining about what don't nobody help them with? I told you about to give alms, so I got to use my money to do the work of the ministry. Yeah, nigga, use it. Nobody want to hear that. I don't want to hear it, certainly. I don't know about y'all. I don't want to hear that. If that man sent you to do the work of Yahuwah, go do it. You know why? Because if he sent you to do it, it don't matter who ain't doing what. He going to make sure it get done. You know why? Because it's about him. See, if he won't let you get it done, that means you don't work for him. If you crying about what the people not giving you, who does that? You know how many Hebrews I done seen over the course of years complain about nobody don't give them no money? And when I'm talking about get them no money, I'm not talking about money to go in their pocket. You know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about to, quote unquote, support the ministry. You know what I'm saying? Look here, man, who cares? If they gonna do it or they don't. You still gonna preach though? You still gonna teach? You still gonna manifest wisdom and understanding the Elohim? You still gonna proclaim the faith of Mashiach to the saving of the soul? To the receiving of the Ruach HaKodesh? You still gonna do that? Yeah, then shut up. Get your sorry behind up and do what the man told you. Nobody wanna hear that. Nobody wanna hear that. See, I seen a nigga say something slick about my homeboy with the land he got, man, and I ain't like that. You know what I'm saying? Because he was like, man, ain't nobody going to come there if it's not developed. Then don't bring your funky behind around that in. You can't want to participate in something and then don't want to have no skin in the game. And expecting somebody to do X, Y, Z. Man, nobody want to hear. I just didn't like that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't mentioning them. I just didn't like that. Because, you know what I'm saying? Because I know this nigga's solid, man. And for you to say that was some real sucker stuff in my estimation. You know what I'm talking about? But I had told that nigga, I said, man, I want to watch that nigga, man. I don't know about that nigga. That nigga's kind of weird. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. You know what I'm saying? He had mentioned it to me, so I was like, you know what? Since you mentioned that, I'm going to tell you this here. Because if you cool with a nigga, man, I ain't finna be like, man, I don't like that nigga, man. You know what I'm talking about? You cool with that nigga, but keep that to myself. Like, you know, unless it's some junk like, man, you might want to watch this. Something about that nigga. We watch that nigga. I don't know what it is, but just watch that nigga. It's different if I'm like, you know, I don't fool with this nigga. Somebody. But that's just me. You don't go around doing that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of niggas go do that. I don't like this nigga. You should. But why you did all that? Stop trying to poison how people see people just because you might not be feeling what they got going on. Or you don't like them. That's whole stuff, man. Stop doing that. If that person cool with them and that person ain't did nothing to them or did nothing to you, you need to keep that to yourself. You know what I'm saying? Keep that to yourself. You're too grown for that. I ain't saying none of y'all do that, but I'm telling you, understand? You're too grown for that. Grown people ain't got no business doing that. You know the weirdest thing I ever seen in my entire life, man? I've seen a lot of weird things, but it's in the top 3. People who look at a nigga, I don't like him. You don't even know him. You know, I've never seen anybody in my life that I was like, upon meeting them without having interaction, I was like, I don't like them. I don't know you to dislike you. I remember we were talking about saying, you just don't like that nigga. I said, how can I dislike a nigga I don't know? I don't know this person. It's not many people on this earth that I dislike. It's a lot of people I don't fool with. But like dislike, it ain't that many. Because I ain't finna give nobody that much power over me that you that important for me to dislike you. You know what I'm talking about? You just like straight up, you're not important. Because when you go to disliking people, you become consumed with that. As forth as when you know what I'm saying? Nah, man, I ain't on that. Like, I might dislike certain things you do, but like dislike you at the core, that's a lie, bro. That's a lie. It's just certain stuff you move and attack. I don't fool with that. Good. But like just, you know what I'm saying? Seeing somebody like, I don't like him. You don't even know this nigga, cuz. How can you dislike someone you don't know? The reason why I say, because once you have that type of thought process, you always going to interact with this person negatively. You always going to try to view them from a negative lens. You've already mentally convinced yourself with this. Don't do that. No, that's crazy work. You say, yeah, like Proverbs 3:30, read that from it happens all the time, especially in the work setting, this high school stuff. We good. There's a lot of stuff I ain't finished. I'm gonna finish this Deuteronomy 14.
Say, strive not with a man without cause if he have done you no harm.
Who you telling? Strive with no man without cause if he ain't did you no harm. Why you contentious with somebody who ain't did nothing to you? You know what I'm talking about? That don't even make sense. Now, I can see you disliking somebody if someone has done something to you. I'm not talking about your feelings hurt. I'm talking about like they done something to you. And you like, I don't like that nigga. Well, what did he do? Oh, he do whoop, whoop, whoop. I understand. That go back to my point earlier, is that if your parents done something to you, you like, no, I'm not fooling with you like that. No, I'm not calling my mama. No, I'm not going over there. You know what I'm talking about? I understand. You know what I'm saying? And guess what? You can have a conversation with somebody and say, hey, I don't see it like that, but I can't tell you how to really perceive or feel whatever slight somebody said to you, because it might not be that serious to me. It could be very serious to you. You know what I'm saying? And I might think that you the craziest nigga walking the earth, but I know it ain't nothing I'm gonna be able to say to you that's gonna change the fact that you not rocking with that. You know what I'm talking about? Keep it a bean with you. But come on, let me read this. Finish it, Deuteronomy 14 and 27. The Levite within your gates, you shall not forsake him, for he have no part nor inheritance with you. At the end of 3 years, you shall bring forth all the tithe of your increase. The same year you shall lay it up within your gates of the Levite, because he have no part nor inheritance with you, and the stranger and the fatherless and the widow, which within your gates shall come and eat and be satisfied, that Yahuwah your Elohim may baruch you in all the work which your hand do. Because he want to take, obviously, if a woman is a widow, she doesn't have a husband. Now, see, what does that mean? That means we live in a different time. Does that mean women didn't earn back then? Yes, they earned. If you think them women were just sitting around and they didn't have any ability to make no money, clearly you ain't read Proverbs 31 and you a simpleton. You know what I'm saying? Because this thought process that women just stayed at home and never worked, I've told you this before, you can research it on your own. That is a new thing in the earth. The housewife thing, that is a new thing in the earth. To think that women never labored in any capacity for the purpose of generating resources is asinine and retarded. And to just go study human history and multitudes of cultures, and you will see that the housewife thing is a new thing in the earth. You know what I'm talking about? That is not something that has always been done. You have to remember that people didn't live in a modern society that we lived in. These people were agricultural type people pretty much all across the world. That's how they lived. You think she was just sitting in the tent, sitting at the house, watching this man work a vineyard? She wasn't doing nothing? No, that's a new thing, man. I've been told you that. A housewife is a new thing. You don't read nowhere in the text they talk about a woman being a housewife. We say she's supposed to build her house. Building your house and being a housewife is two different things. Say she's supposed to keep the house and guide the house. It doesn't mean it said to be a housewife. A housewife is not a Hebrew concept. It's not an Elohim concept. He never ordained and said that. Clearly, because you see that the Proverbs 30, that woman in Proverbs 31 was an industrious individual. You know what I'm talking about? Because it says she sold clothes. We just talked about Dorcas. It says she was making stuff and getting to it. Now, what you do with your resources is a whole nother conversation. We're not getting into that. You know what I'm talking about? I'm just talking about the aspect of living in America and women feeling like they shouldn't have to work, and because they're going off of maybe at the max 100 years 150 years at the most of human experience in one part of the world and thinking that this is how the whole world is worked because you niggas watch movies and don't read books. How many of you even care to study another people's culture to see how they lived? You know what I'm saying? How many of you have even looked at how people lived in America and how it's evolved? And you'll see that, nah, where are you getting that from? You got people screaming, women didn't have rights yet in America. You don't know what they had anywhere else because you view everything through the lens of America. Indeed, Caleb, you can definitely learn a lot from studying other people's cultures. You know what I'm saying? That junk different, my G. It's not the same thing, man. They didn't do that. They didn't do that. Man, you'll go, you know what you'll end up finding out? In a lot of these cultures that them women work right next to their husband. Work right next to him. Normal thing. Which is just what it was. Nobody looked at it like, he got me out here doing this and doing that. It's just the time period that we live in. Because at the end of the day, as a woman, now if your husband don't require that of you, he don't require that of you. But if you just cool with doing nothing, you a maggot hoe. I ain't gonna lie to you. You a maggot. You a foot dragon. You terrible. You know what I'm talking about? You terrible. Just doing nothing. You just feel like he just supposed to, there's something wrong with you. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even talking about going to get no job per se. I'm just talking about contributing to the household in a particular aspect that makes the load lighter for him. You don't want to do nothing? Nothing. I cook and I clean. Man, get out of here, man. Get out of here, man. That means you don't care about your household. You can't claim to be a virtuous woman because you a foolish woman. You trying to tear it down. It is what it is, man. You ain't got to like it. Examine it and see. See if the text bears witness to what we're talking about. And if it does, why won't you just align your behavior to that? Because it's pleasing to Yahuwah. It's not because it's pleasing to me. I don't care. You know what I'm talking about? I don't care. See, what other people's problem is you think that people who preach the word, some of these dudes do care. They try to push their viewpoint on you. I don't care what you do. You know what I'm talking about? Meaning, I'm not trying to persuade, push, prod, or convince you to do nothing other than what Yahuwah wants you to do. I'm talking about me personally. I don't care what you choose. If you don't want to do nothing, your husband cool with it, then fine. What that mean to me? That's not my business. I don't care. But when you talking about what Yahuwah care about, I care about that. I'm going to tell you what the man wants. What you do with it is between you and the Lord. That ain't got nothing to do with me. You know what I'm saying? That ain't got nothing to do with me. Like I told you, man, I heard them say you don't look at a woman and want to make her life easier. That means I'm going to help me. A woman should look at a particular man, prayerfully he's productive, ambitious, you know what I'm talking about, disciplined and driven, and thinking, how can I come in and make his life easier? It is not my job to walk around and look for a woman to make her life easier. That means if I need to make her life easier, she's made her life more complex than it needed to be. I don't want a part of it. Because to make somebody's life easier is to be a helpmeet. That's what helpmeets do. They help, right? And you're helping to do what? To make things easier. What you think the Ruach HaKodesh is? It's a what? It's a helpmeet. You know what I'm talking about? To make things easier. It's a comforter. It's not my job to, I'm not any woman's helpmeet. I'm not. I would not even subject myself to that. Because now I'm operating outside of the order of Yahuwah. I can't be the head and the helpmeet. You can't do both. That's not my job. That's people's biggest problem in dealing with Yahuwah. We say it in here all the time, what? Do your job. That's not my job. That's not my job. That's your job. He said, it is not good for man to be alone. I shall do what? Make a helpmeet for him. He said it wasn't good for you to be alone. He made a helpmeet for you. He said the comforter. He said he will abide with you and bring to remembrance all things that I've said unto you. He'll be an aid, a help, and a relief. You know what I'm talking about? That's what a helpmeet is. Yahusha is your helpmeet. He the only person who can be your head and be the head and the helpmeet. I wasn't created to do that. He was, because I was just like, I done told y'all that plenty of times before. You got to give esteem to your Father in heaven in the name of Yahushua, for the simple fact that he said that it behooved him to be made like unto his brethren. He didn't take on the nature of Malachim, but took on the seed of Abraham, that he could be a faithful and merciful high priest and the things pertaining to the reconciliation of Elohim. Your God is so merciful that he decided that I will become a man and go through every level of human experience so I could be an aid, help, and a relief to them. I don't have that capacity to pull that off. You know what I'm talking about? I don't have that capacity. You know how? Because I would never know what it would be like to have the experience of childbirth. I can't be an aid and a help and a relief to you when it comes to that. I can be a support system. I can't be a help me. You know what I'm talking about? There's a difference. Because Paul said that Yahushua would save you through childbirth. He can give a level of help to you that I can't give. Why? Because help don't come from man. Salvation and deliverance don't come from me. I can't give you that. And I'm not seeking to be in his stead in that fact. See, a lot of individuals who deal with their word, man, they want to be in Yahuwah's position. So they try to slot themselves to be able to execute things that are for Yahuwah to execute. And a lot of us don't have the thought process and humility to know, no, I'm not stepping over in that lane because that's not my lane to step in. It's my job as the head of this household to point you to he who can facilitate that. And that's Yahuwah. So that means if we need to pray, if we need to fast, you know what I'm talking about? Amen, Brother Marvin. If we need to do all that, then that's what we need to do. Because I can't be your helpmeet and deliver you. I can't do that. But I know someone who can. You know what I'm talking about? Because it's my facility. I have a different job. See, when people hear that again, don't hear what I just said through the lens of your flesh and your feelings, because you're going to hear something that's not been said. You know what I'm talking about? We talking about being, you made in the image of Adam. I'm not made in the image of Eve. Adam is made in the image of Elohim. So he wants you to operate in the framework that he set. So when you operating in the framework that he set, that's a different administration. He didn't ask Adam to be a helpmeet to Eve. It's not what he told him to do. He specifically said, I'm going to make a helpmeet for him, not to balance him out like people say. You gotta balance. That's not what he said. That's none of that. That's New Age stuff, man. Leave that at the New Age temple. Don't no man need no woman to balance him out from what? He got God for that. You putting yourself somewhere you don't belong. That's Yahuwah's job to do that for him. That's not you can't do that. Balance me out how? How you going to get me a just weight and a just measure to balance me out? What is it that you going to do that can balance me out? I don't got no masculine and feminine principles inside of me. I'm all man. I come from Elohim. Ain't no feminine in me. What you talking about? And you niggas stupid as hell for letting these women convince you of that. You know what I'm talking about? We all got masculine and feminine. No, I don't. You got some hoe in you. I ain't got no hoe in me, cuz. And I don't say that to say women got hoe in them. I'm saying that's how men would talk. I ain't got no woman in me, cuz. Because I was made in the image of Elohim. See, Elohim ain't got no male and female created, he, them. Ain't no woman got pulled out of him, literally. Ain't no feminine in Yahuwah. That's insane. Yahuwah is Yahuwah, the self-existing one. Ain't no masculine or no feminine in Yahuwah. He just Yahuwah, the Almighty. That's insane. That's insane. He's just Yahuwah. But man is in the image of Elohim. That means he want him to operate in the image of Elohim. If I'm operating like a woman, I made Yahuwah a woman. I ain't on that, cuz. Well, that's different. You know why some men say they need a woman to be their peace? Because most of them haven't been taught that you need to make sure you have peace in your life and you don't let that woman come in and disturb it. You know what I'm saying? That's what goes with what we were talking about Wednesday. You got a lot of people, man, they ain't had you got a lot of men that a lot of things that you think a man should know, nobody taught him. No woman comes out the womb and is a feminine woman. She has to be raised and taught by one. You know what I'm talking about? No man comes out the womb and he's a masculine man. He has to be taught by one. And if he doesn't have that in his life, if she doesn't have that in her life, then she's figuring that out on the fly. He's figuring that out on the fly. You know what I'm saying? So things that you think, because you would think somebody would know that, but you got, man, a lot of dudes don't know, man, you're supposed to have peace in your own life, and then she come and she don't disturb it. Because I done told several women on Clubhouse, and like, man, a woman can't be my peace. How's she going? I don't even give her that much power in my life to be able to even say that she could do that. I wouldn't even want a woman who thinks she could be. You know what I'm saying? I don't, how can she be my peace? I can't be her peace. You know why? Because peace comes from Yahuwah. You asking me to give somebody something that they don't have the power to give. She can't give me peace. She can disturb it though. And if she gonna disturb it, she got to go. But that would be for anybody. Why would you let somebody come in? I'm not talking about disturbing your peace like y'all talking about in worldly fashion. I'm talking about how you gonna let somebody disrupt the shalom of Elohim with you. I got to remove myself from you. I'm not finna let you disturb the peace because there ain't no peace for the wicked. So if I ain't got no peace, that means I'm wicked. So I ain't on that. You know what I'm talking about? I ain't on that. No, you can't do that. How you gonna do that? Well, I mean, of course, people shoot. You can't be your own peace when you're wicked, baby. Because he say ain't no peace for the wicked. And what he said? Mm-hmm. Can't be your own peace when you're wicked. A lot of people ain't got no peace because they're evil as hell. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, they're evil as hell. You know what I'm talking about? But see, at the end of the day, what you really describe in the moon is what we say is a disciplinary problem. A lot of brothers marry disciplinary problems. So you setting yourself up to have to dwell on the rooftop or in a wide corner because you married a disciplinary problem. So somebody like, I'm not the child. See, a disciplinary problem is simply one who has no discipline. You know what I'm talking about? Who refuses to operate in any type of structure and order, who is defiant and rebellious, strife-filled. That's what a disciplinary problem is. You don't fool with that kind of woman. You don't know how to talk to me? Ain't fooling with it. You're not finna talk to me any kind of way. I'm not dealing with that. I don't have to. I won't. You know what I'm saying? I done seen, like I said, women say, they can't handle me. Shoot, I don't want nothing I gotta handle. I don't want a woman I gotta tame. I don't want to go through that. I'm not gonna be in my house dealing with that every day. Life's hard enough. I'm not dealing with that voluntarily. That's insane. That's insane. I'm not dealing with that. Yeah, I'm not dealing with that. I'm gonna be honest with you. It ain't too many men who've been spoiled as a child. What you got with what people call spoiled is a woman who made her son codependent. You know what I'm talking about? Because she didn't know that he needed to be able to function as a man. Because most men ain't spoiled. If a little boy being spoiled, it's because this woman is trying to do for him what she want to do for a man because she's making a son husband. You know what I'm talking about? But most little boys ain't spoiled because little boys find out real early, boy, you're going to have to get out here and get it. It's not too many young men living a soft life, if you would. You know what I'm talking about? They might stay fresh and stay fly, but once they hit a certain age, well, you're going to have to get out here and get it. It's going to be expected. What you're talking about is a boy who mama catered to him in certain aspects of things that he don't know how to do for himself. You know what I'm talking about? So he's looking for a replacement mama. I don't know how to cook my own food. I don't know how to clean my own house. And I don't know how to wash my own clothes. So, you know what I'm saying? So I'm looking for you to do it. Now you got some niggas don't want to do it. And that's what they want a wife for. You know what I'm talking about? But then I would have to sit back and look at, don't complain about doing X, Y, Z when you know that that's at least at this juncture in this society, that's the role of a woman. Don't complain to me about being a woman. You know what I'm saying? Don't give me excuses why you didn't clean the house or why you didn't cook the food or why you didn't do this here. Because you ain't going to want to hear no excuses for me about why I didn't go to work and get no money and pay for this and pay for that. You ain't going to want to hear, because all you're going to look at is he didn't get it done. But when you don't get it done, You want me to understand why you didn't get it done. You didn't get it done. It doesn't matter. You didn't get it done. You say you don't know how to be my own peace? He said, yeah, I mean, shoot. It ain't hard. One of the aspects of be able to be your own peace is you have to be firmly rooted in knowing who you are. You know what I'm saying? That's on the natural side. Now, of course, to be your own on the spiritual side is to know who Yahuwah is and then who you are in Yahuwah. One of probably the hardest aspects in life to be able to know your own peace is to have the wisdom to be able to understand, to not fixate on things outside of your control. Because I think that's what most people lose their peace and stability at, is focusing on things that you can't control. Because the only thing you can control is your attitude and your work ethic. Those are the only two things that you can control. You know what I'm saying? Outside of that, you can't control other people. You can't control the choices they make. You can't control what they say. You can't control what they do. You can't control any of that. You know what I'm saying? And then, being accepted on, shoot. Have faith in God and let him have that. Carry your stake and let him do the rest. And that's about it. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're wrestling quietly in Yahuwah, then you can know how to be your own. A lot of times it's because people are anxious and obsessing about things and worrying. And that's where that Philippians come in at. That's where that Jeremiah 17 come in at, which y'all already know. Blessed is he who trusts in Yahuwah, who hope Yahuwah is, because you won't be careful in drought, meaning you won't be anxious when things are empty. And he say, if you do feel any anxiety, think of those things that are good, think of those things that are just, think of those things that you have to let your mind drift to who is peace, which is Yahuwah. Yeah, you have to do that. I'm not saying that you're gonna master it the first time, especially if you're not accustomed to that. I mean, life is hard, it's difficult out here, man. Especially in these days and times, it's real out here, man. You know what I'm saying? And then talking about this the other day, because like if you hustling, I ain't talking about if you clocking in on the job. If you hustling, it's one thing that is a guarantee that money gonna slow down. You know what I'm saying? See, when you see like when athletes go broke because they don't have in their mind that you only getting this money for a short period of time and this money gonna slow down. You know what I'm saying? See, some people are like, how could that nigga go broke? Because you get it in your mind that you gonna keep getting it like this. You know what I'm saying? And it ain't always like that. You know what I'm talking about? So that's just life, man. You know what I'm saying? You have to move to not let certain things overwhelm you and let your mind be stilled and focus on Yahuwah and let Yahuwah come to mind. Remember Yahuwah. Trust in Yahuwah forever. For trusting Yahuwah's everlasting strength, your mind got to be stayed on him. You know what I'm saying? Especially in times of adversity and tribulation and things of that nature. But then you have to remember that those situations and circumstances is to try you, to purify your heart, to see what's in it. You know what I'm talking about? You say got to know it's going to come from anywhere else. Yeah, man. You know what I mean? But I say, man, woman can't give you peace. A man can't give no woman no peace. Again, this is just focusing on you putting people in places and spots in life that Yahuwah never intended them to be. He never did. Read me Ecclesiastes 7. I ain't even get that too. Stanley had one up there earlier. Jeremiah 17. When we get there, read me Jeremiah 17. Oh, he was mentioned in the never mind. Jeremiah 17:5 is, curse be the man who trusteth in man, who make flesh his own. You know what I'm saying? And that arm meaning salvation, like we was reading, man. You can't trust in the arm you can't trust in man in that regard. See, people here that see that you can't trust nobody. If you got people around you, you can't trust, nigga. What type of friends you got, cuz? That's what a nigga talking about, nigga making the video. Most of y'all ain't got no friends. Just because you ain't got no friends. That's why I roll dolo. Because I'm like, nigga, because you ain't got no friends, cuz don't try to throw me in that box. I hate niggas who do that because they really mad that other people got friends and they don't. Because when this nigga talking, I'm like, I may not talk to these niggas every day. Man, I got the same friends for over 30 years, nigga. Niggas ain't around here falling out, doing all this old extra stuff. Because this nigga say he hit a nigga up to help him move, and the nigga want to get paid. Now, I will say this here, though. And this is just me personally. I couldn't ask a nigga to go from one state to another and help me move, and I don't compensate him for his time. Just be honest with you. And I don't see that as he look at it. That's just doing business. I don't look at that as doing business, because on the real, my nigga, to ask you to go from, okay, we in Florida, ask you like, yeah, bro, you know, I live in Virginia. I need you to drive my U-Haul back down here, this, that. Now, of course, you got niggas who go, yeah, man, I got you, bro. Ain't no big deal. But nigga, that ain't like what y'all did, helping a nigga move 5 miles around the corner. From another state? Nigga, I gotta drive a U-Haul from Virginia to Florida? If I'm able, man, I gotta shoot your son. That's a hell of a request. To go state to state? You method man out here. You riding dolo from state to state. That's a hell of a request, man. You just can't request. You just can't. Come on, man. You gotta be real with yourself. You already know if this your homeboy. You already know he gonna do that on the strength. You know what I'm talking about? But since you that's your homeboy, you gonna be like, hey boy, I appreciate you, my nigga. I know I asked you to do a hell of a thing. Here you go, bro. Because if you doing this here, boy, you could have been out here making some money. So I'm taking a whole day from you. Because not only and do I gotta come up here and help you load the truck, then drive it down, and then help you unload it? Come on, man. You gotta be a real nigga, man. You gotta look out for your dog, man. Now I will say this here, right? If it's like how Trick Daddy said, but if I ain't got it, I ain't your dog no more, then okay, in that case, I ain't got it then. But see, we grew up like that. If that's your friend and you say, bro, can you do this here for me? No, I ain't gonna be it. I ain't got it. That man don't owe you no explanation. If that's your homeboy, you know why? Because you already know if he had it and he could, then he would. So you don't never want to have that fact in your mind, man, being entitled in your mind to feel like your friends owe you. They don't owe you nothing but love, my nigga. You know what I'm talking about? He said, I did a move for my partner in the military. He paid me and everything was organized and accountable. Yeah, man. And guess what? You would have went and did it. You ain't even looking for no bread. Now he's saying the nigga was looking for some bread. You know what I'm saying? Because if that's your homeboy, you ain't looking for no bread. You finna do it anyway. But then you know if the nigga break you off with some bread, oh, you already know that's my nigga. He fooled with me because he ain't have to do that. I ain't even asked for that. I wasn't even looking for that. You know what I'm talking about? But he looked out for me because the nigga already know him. I'm asking you to do a hell of a task. Like I said, man, helping a nigga move across town. Man, nigga ain't thinking about no bread, man. Just call me when you're ready, cuz. You know what I'm saying? I got you, my nigga. You know what I'm talking about? But you talking about nigga moving from another state? Come on, bro. He said, for sure, my childhood friend. Come on, bro. This your homie? Like you said, your childhood? Come on, man. Fat boy called me. I need you to help me move, man. Where you move from? He live on the north side. Oh, I'm moving from the north side, man. I'm finna move out here. Oh, yeah, boy, I'm gonna need about $50 for that. Come on, bro. Nigga moving out east, man. We ain't going nowhere. We ain't going nowhere. And this be the thing now. Of course, you know, because we be doing moving helper. I don't like to move. I don't know too many people like to move. But I'm be honest with you. If a nigga pack this stuff like brother King Watt just said, man, if a nigga pack their stuff properly and it's set and ready to go, it's a breeze. Niggas don't like to move because niggas don't pack. That's why niggas don't like to move, because you niggas don't pack. You don't pack nothing, you don't box nothing, you don't do nothing. You just got stuff loose. Niggas hate them type of moves because you don't even know how to put this stuff on the truck. See, when everything was packed and ready to go, oh, you like this, okay, we're going to stop this here, woo, 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 and it make it easy to get off the truck. You know what I'm talking about? Then of course, if you moving a nigga in, you definitely want to please right on this so I can put it where it goes quick. It goes quick. But when it's chaos, that's why niggas don't like to move. You know what I'm saying? Because you niggas don't pack. Niggas don't pack nothing. Don't nobody think about going. Nigga, it's a used box store on Jack's Beach. I don't know if it's still there. You could go buy used boxes, nigga. You know what I'm talking about? You like, nigga, you could just go to U-Haul and buy some boxes, my nigga. At all. That nigga say have a nigga. Now I ain't gonna lie to you. But if you call me talking about you moving on the 3rd or 4th floor and you ain't got no elevator, man, shoot. Man, we did a move for some people. Boy, I was mad as hell. These niggas was on the 3rd floor. I say, moving helpers should let me charge you some more money for this.
The real estate company would.
Absolutely. Well, I seen something because now I seen, man, when I was we finna get ready to wrap up. So I'm gonna take. When I was reserving the U-Haul the other day, I seen that junk with moving help. That junk say we top rated. So I'm like, that's why a lot of people, because I don't know if we do that for everybody, but when we was at the top, we was the first one listed. You know what I'm talking about? But boy, I seen a company on there. Them boys wanted $1,650 for 2 men for 2 hours. $1,650. I said, Lord, have mercy. You know what I'm talking about? He said, most of your real friends know if you really hurting. Yeah, they gonna know. Sometimes, man, a nigga call you to go do some junk because he know you down bad, and that's a way for him to put some money in your pocket. He just won't want you to feel like a nigga throwing you some poverty money. Man, I got something to do, bro. Come over here and help me do this here. Nigga, no, I appreciate you, boy. That's how your homeboy look out for you so you don't feel like less of a man and you felt like you earned it. You know what I'm talking about? But that's man stuff, though. You know what I'm saying? A lot of niggas hold niggas. They don't know niggas do moves like that because that's a homeboy. Don't nobody want to see his day homeboy with his dick in the dirt. Not if he fool with him. No. Man, if you friends with dudes, man, the dudes could look at you, man, and know you down bad, boy, and don't give a damn. Oh, they don't fool with you. You know what I'm talking about? They don't fool with you. You might get some new friends. I just was tripping on hearing this man say 95% of y'all ain't got no friends. I say everybody probably got friends. You know what I'm talking about? I think it's more percentage of people who have friends. What I mean by that is that most people have a hard time identifying their real friends from people who are not their friends. You know what I'm talking about? And a lot of people tend to focus on the people who are not their friends than the people who actually are their friends. And because I say, boy, I got the same friends, boy, from when I was a jit. Nigga, we all still, and I'm talking most of us from school, bro. Most of us still hang with the same people we've been hanging with. So I don't even be knowing how people be going from different friend groups. Man, that's a character flaw. You always changing friends, changing who you hanging with. Man, that say something. It say something about you, boy. There's something wrong with you. You know what I'm talking about? That's why. And I was talking to East about this other day. That's why when you went over here. I can't speak for you later because y'all be tripping sometimes. You know what I'm talking about? Y'all be on some other stuff. You know what I'm talking about? But y'all ladies, I understand it. I had it. Yeah, I said, so what? But I'm talking about, but nah, y'all do this here with each other after y'all get over whatever y'all be having going on. But like I'm talking about over here, I ain't looking at you like, oh, we in the word, so I got to be your brother and this, that, there, and the third. Nah, boy, I fool with you, my nigga, on some real nigga activity. Like straight up and down till you show yourself to be a dishonorable man. And I don't mean that I'm walking around looking for you to show yourself to be a dishonorable man. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, hey, we fool with you over here, cuz. You know what I'm talking about? And you, sir, we down with you, bro. And it ain't on some old, that fake pretentious junk, man. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, yeah, what's up? And then you really don't fool with nobody. Nah, boy. I can't speak for nobody else, but boy, we gonna fool with you around here. You come around here, man. You know what I'm talking about? That mean you getting ranked on. That mean niggas gonna try to help you as best they can to get some bread. You know what I'm saying about? But you definitely gonna get ranked on. You gonna catch it. Shoot, if you don't catch no joke, man, that means truth be told, nobody don't really fool with you. You know what I'm talking about? You think you finna sit around here don't get this work? That's why some niggas stop fooling with us. Because they got mad. Them niggas be ranking all the time. That's definitely why one nigga I know don't fool with it. And my dog told that nigga head looked like a wallet. That nigga was upset. You know what I'm talking about? He ain't really knowing. Nigga, that means we fool with you, cuz. But all jokes aside though, he could have just simply said, like, I ain't cool with that. Ain't nobody finna keep ranking and you say you ain't on that. That's all it takes to say, no, I don't like that. I don't want you to do that. You know what I mean by that? Because if I'm down with you and we fool with each other and you say, nah, bro, I ain't really on that. I don't like niggas doing that to me. All right, cool, man. Ain't no sweat. We ain't just gonna keep doing, nah, nigga, we crack jokes over here. Nah, bro. You got to be a grown enough man to know this man said that make him uncomfortable and he don't care for it to not do it.
I'm not trying to make a nigga upset.
Yeah, like shoot. They ain't finna rank on your shoot. Ain't no fun. You don't rank back. What's the point of that? You know what I'm talking about? You around here looking crazy. You mad. Now you want to stab me. You know what I'm talking about? Come on, man. But hallelujah for y'all who trying to work, man. It's late, man. Y'all will, man. We'll be back on tomorrow, man. We'll try to seal all this stuff up in a night little bow, man. Because most of the stuff y'all already know. I know it's newer people on here who be like, man, I wanted to hear about some of this stuff. And y'all willing, we can work it in on some other things we got going on. Because something came to my mind about firstborn sons, man, and all that might be the direction we head to next year. Who knows? But yeah, I appreciate y'all, man. I bless y'all at the house of Elohim in the name of Yahushua. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. You know what I'm saying? Also, you know, praise be to Yahuwah. Shesazo, because Lee had baby number 6 today. So praise the Lord for that. You know what I'm talking about? She all right, baby all right. So praise Yahuwah for that. That means everything all right. You know what I'm saying? 6 babies is a heck of a number. You know what I'm saying? Y'all around here competing about who can have the more children. They ain't caught up to muffin yet. They ain't too far away though. They ain't too far away though. At least you're trying to catch it. At least you said the lies you tell. You know what I'm saying? But y'all got a lot of children, boy. We need to go buy some land and make them niggas till it. You know what I'm talking about? Y'all niggas got a whole workforce out here, man. Amen, brother Margaret, man. Love you too, bro. Be safe out here, man. Nah, man. Praise you for it, though, man. You know what I'm saying? Because all jokes aside, man, I know that is very, very stressful on y'all body. You know what I'm talking about? So that's definitely a blessed thing. Each and every time y'all come out on the other side of that, in a good way. Because like I say, you know what I'm saying? It's just evidence of, and of course, you know, sinners get saved in childbirth, but you know, just getting saved in childbirth, because we all know that is that can be a life-altering situation and circumstance, to say the least. You know what I'm talking about? That's why I always told you you should, as a man, you should have a strong modicum of respect for this woman, knowing that every time she replicated your DNA for you, that she could have died. You know what I'm talking about? Because if you keep having a nigga babies and you don't love him, you crazy. You know what I'm talking about? I would hope you would love somebody you risking your life to replicate his DNA. If you just spitting out babies just to spit out babies, man, you living wild. Praise you, man, brother Ernest. Dead serious. I ain't being funny or nothing. Like, okay, I see you had a baby one dude you through, but you talking about 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I sure hope you love that man. Because you putting your life on the line a lot. Like I say, man, there's certain things in this life, man, in this society that we live in that are so commonplace, even though we know it happened, but you rarely know somebody who it happens to, that you don't realize how that happens more often than you think. You know what I'm saying? It's not as prevalent as it was maybe at another time in history, but a lot of women die in childbirth. You know what I'm saying? And especially our women, because y'all already know in these hospitals, these people don't give a damn about y'all. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to just leave that at that. Most of y'all already on here know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? So I always give thanks to Yahuwah when y'all come out on the other side with that one there, man, because shoot, that's a heck of an experience. But most of y'all rounding out the end of your journey when it comes to spitting out babies, I would surmise. Because shoot, y'all not as young as you used to be. You know what I'm talking about? Sure, I ain't saying that to be funny, like shoot. Once you get up to having 5, 6, 7 children, that means shoot, you probably were pretty young when you started. You don't hear about no 34-year-old woman having 8 kids. You know what I'm talking about? I mean, she'd have to have one of them every year. So once you get to 8 and 6 and 5, you probably started that in your early 20s. You know what I'm talking about? So that time period probably coming to a close. And that's when you go to looking at, I remember when they was a baby, and now this nigga farting at the dinner table. And then the next thing you know, they grown. And you be like, where that time went? And now you're a grandparent. And you be like, my God, today. But you know, that's the beauty of life, because then you get to do it in a different fashion without the entire spectrum of the responsibility. You could just be like, you know what? I don't have to take care of you, so we can just have fun. You know, that's a beautiful thing. And then maybe you might look at your grandchildren and be like, dang, you look just like your dad. I promise to you, boy, y'all have mercy on her soul, man. Mama used to look at, y'all have mercy on his soul. Look at Sean, man. When I first got up, she used to always call him mistakenly by my name, because for her, it was like me all over again. Not saying that he acted like me, that then the third, but of course we family, so we share the family resemblance. It's the same age. It's like you get transported back to that time, like when my son was 5. Now I got my nephew who's 5. You know what I'm saying? And this is before she had grandchildren, and then now you got grandkids. Now it's like, dang, you could remind me of my daughter, or this one reminds me of my son. You know what I'm saying? The things of that nature, man, as they growing and developing. You know what I'm talking about? And prayerfully, y'all willing, because shoot, most of y'all young enough to where shoot, you probably prayerfully be alive to see some grandchildren. You know what I'm talking about? You'll get to see that done. I'll probably be dead, because I'm already old. You know what I'm talking about? As it pertains to that, I very bad without, because I'll probably have to be a very old man. Literally, because shoot, I'll be damn near 60 when Joanne hit be of age. So then you talking about if you add some more time on that one there, shoot, then you could be pushing in their 70s at that point. My God, today. Some of y'all might be able to see great grandchildren because you had your kids young. You know what I'm talking about? Ain't nothing wrong with being able to say you got 2-3 generations running with you. That's a beautiful thing. Some people might not think that way, but who cares? But hey, y'all willing, man, we'll be back at it on tomorrow, man. Make it do what it do, man. Y'all be safe, man. Guard your heart. And you know what I'm talking about? Don't let everybody catch you for it, because you like to walk around doing all that. Y'all willing till tomorrow. All right, Clubhouse, we out of here because I need to eat. I ain't ate in 2 days.